Hello, greetings, mortals and immortals. Welcome to not just another episode of Zophar's Realm, because we have the man, the myth, the legend, the inverse phase. How you doing, buddy? What's going on? Think you're still muted. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Well, first let me say hi to everybody. Well, Inverse Phase is getting his audio figured out. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Balinor, thank you for the 30 stream streak. That's a month and 2 weeks of watching streams in the realm and the domain. Your support is greatly appreciated. Oh, didn't we decide that I was going to do... Oh, there it is, there it is. I think we decided I was going to use the old camera. Do I like the old camera? Nah, we'll stick with the new camera. The new camera's garbage, but the old camera makes me look orangey yellow, so I don't want to look.
Make sure you show your beautiful side.
Exactly. So, how we doing tonight? Who else we got here? I see Cupa has followed. Thank you, Cupa, for the follow and for joining the realm and the domain. Your support is greatly appreciated. What's happening? RPG Capper, Balinor, Deckard Bane, DJ Bacon Blade. We have SGBU here. Yeah, exactly, Balinor. 30 streams. Oh, boy. It is heating up, Inverse Phase. Sylvan Swirls, welcome on in. What's going on? Little Imp Noodle, doodly-doo, indeed. Thank you so much, Deckard Bane, for $16 to the Bloop Museum. Your support is really appreciated. And Michael R. for the $32. Your support is also greatly appreciated. So down here is where they will all appear. We don't have any alerts, unfortunately, audio-wise set up, because Twitch is twitching, and Twitch does not remember that Bloop Museum is an amazing 501c3 organization. So since Twitch forgot, we remembered for it. It's like Total Recall. We remembered it for them wholesale. Who else we got here tonight? I see G. Levy, brother of mine. How we doing? Hope you're doing great tonight. All right. So let's get a little music kicked off here in the background. Inverse Phase, do you have a preference on what I throw in the background here from your amazing collection of awesome stuff?
So I sent you a bunch of files.
You did.
And I thought that maybe we would talk about a little bit of interesting emulation history.
We definitely can.
Obviously relevant. So you've been playing a lot of Lufia, right?
I have been.
I sent you a 3-minute, really crappy quality MP3 of Lufia. And you're going to listen to it and be like, why is this so slow? Why does this sound so awful? And I'm going to tell you what it is.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to go prepare that file right now then. While I'm getting it ready, I'm going to throw a playlist together of all those files you put. While I'm putting that together, would you like to tell the amazing community of Zophar's Realm a little bit about Bloop Museum and what we're doing here tonight?
Sure.
I'll get that ready.
Okay, so currently I'm sitting in my office, but in a matter of, well, maybe not a matter of minutes, but hopefully soon we're going to be wandering around a gigantic computer and video game and tech gadget and weird media museum. This has been a crazy collaboration between me and 2 other museums for the past several years. I've been running this museum technically for 16 years, if any of y'all have heard of MagFest, which I think we learned, last night or the night before, that maybe a few people have. I started this as the MagFest Museum a long, long time ago, and I backed off from running MagFest and kind of did it as a pop-up at like anime and video game cons and stuff like that, and we would just bring like a few little exhibits, wherever we went. So fast forward to 2018, and I have to move out of my house, and I have a 2-car garage worth of computer and game stuff, and I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. And everyone, like this one, it all happened in like 1 week. 4 different people asked me, hey, have you ever gone up to like Hunt Valley and visited this computer museum? It's in the back of an IT company. And I'm like, no, I haven't. I've heard about it 4 times now, but whatever. So lo and behold, he's probably even watching. Greetings to Bob Roswell. He runs an IT company called System Source and started a little museum of his own inside of there. And I was looking for a brick and mortar place to plop my museum. He gives me a tour of his place. We figure out that we both want to run a computer and game museum where you can actually turn stuff on and play with it.
Nice.
Stuff is not under glass. It's stuff that you can touch. It's stuff that you can power on. Even some of the more serious machines, like Bob owns a Lincoln Labs Link. There's this crazy story about it that maybe I can tell you while I'm on the tour. He also has like PDP-8s. We have Univacs, stuff like that. And some of this stuff powers on and works and runs software and you can touch it. It's really there. I mean, my game collection is included in this. I have 14,000 games, always looking to acquire more. If anyone has any games that they want to get rid of, surplus or, like duplicates or whatever, you can just dump your games on us and we make them available for anyone to come in the museum and play. We've done archival and data recovery stuff. I recovered some floppy disks for various people recently. Probably more interesting to people in the stream, I recovered a Commodore 64 game that had some really weird copy protection on it and whatever, and we were having trouble getting a disk image of it, but I got it and sent it back to the guy that wrote the game. And I think I could be totally wrong on this, but I think they're going to re-release their game and include the original Commodore 64 game with it, along with some of the documentation, but they might have just wanted to archive it. Either way, they've got it now. That's what we want to do, is preserve software. In effect, that's what we're kind of trying to do for the past 30 years with emulation too, is just make sure that we, archive our software and our games and whatever, make sure they're not lost to time, or cartridges blow up or the ROMs die or something like that. Who's going to have these games? So there's that. I also recovered a floppy disk that led to 2 different gentlemen being exonerated and completely cleared their legal record and whatever, and so they're able to actually go and get jobs without someone asking them, hey, why were you arrested? And they have to be like, I was actually falsely accused of a crime. And
wow.
but that doesn't sound too good in an interview, right?
No.
So now, no, it's not on the record at all, thanks
That's
to us
incredible.
finding and recovering a court case.
Wow.
Stuff like that. So it's about computers, it's about games. I've got a collection of 1,000 laser discs that you can come in and watch. You can come and look at old media, you can play with videotapes. I literally just got a 200-pound VCR that takes Type C Ampex from 1976. It's like broadcast, a broadcast videotape recorder. I mean, just and if it doesn't work, we want to make it work, right? We want this to be an interactive, fun place. So I got way off on a tangent because these are all the things that we do, but I got together with Bob and we've been working on making his IT company. It's a fully functioning computer business. It actually used to be Computerland back in the day, if anyone's old enough to remember that.
Okay.
The Computerland of Baltimore turned into System Source. And so they do IT and presentations and, rack space and just all of this stuff. They'll be a managed services IT company for you and be your tech support if your company's too small for it, things like that. And so I'm kind of the video games and foreign computers guy, but I still have a collection of a lot of the stuff that you'll see in the museum. And that leads me to, hey, we're raising funds because I'm going to abscond to Pittsburgh probably and start my own thing. With Bob's blessing, I've been fundraising and handing out flyers here in the building to kind of get us into our own space. Both of us agree that, this is something that there should be more of across the country. There should just be fun places to go to learn about technology and play with it and that sort of a thing.
Definitely.
And I'm to the point where I've got, too much crap basically. And, we found a building to put it in already. And that's what's going on with the fundraiser link and that sort of a thing. In the meantime, in the midst of all of this, there's actually a 3rd museum, National Electronics Museum. They used to be down by the Baltimore airport. And they've got all sorts of radar, satellite, microwave, stuff, and all sorts of early radio and magnetic and electricity things. And, they've also got some fun hands-on stuff. So if you visit us in our current location in Hunt Valley, and I'll still be here for I don't know, a couple months at least, but realistically until this fundraiser ends, Um, and you can visit, you can see the museum in its current incarnation. We are open. It's not like we're trying to open a museum. It exists. It runs, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Shout outs to this guy. I think his name is Andrew. He's from Scotland. Just visited today. I
Nice.
don't think that he's watching, but I mentioned that we were doing this. So if he's out there, then cool. Like it's just it's really kind of a fantastic place, and a lot of just like random cool amazing people show up. Like I met a guy that worked for the design company that designed the original Mac, like the physical design company, not like the people that designed the motherboard. And it turns out, I asked the guy, I was like, well, you weren't around when they designed the Mac, right? What did you design, or what is your like unsung hero for this company or whatever? And he's like, oh, well, I designed the original iPhone. And I was like, ugh.
So, are you talking
And he was
about
like,
are you talking about Johnny Ive?
so here's the kicker. He's not talking about the Apple iPhone. He's talking about what became the Cisco IP phone.
Oh.
There was a phone, a desk phone called the iPhone that was not made
Ah,
by Apple. And we
wow.
had one. I was literally asking him on the way out, just kind of like talking shop with him or whatever. And I was like, hold on, you got to come back here and like make a gang sign next to this phone or something. And so we put him
I had
next to
no
the
idea.
iPhone.
That's awesome.
So I mean, like you just learn all of this like really cool, fun stuff while you're giving tours. Over the past weekend, we had a repair weekend. There's this guy Lee Felsenstein, or Felsenstein. Oh my God, I just screwed it up, didn't I? So he designed the Osborne computer and the Sol 20. These are, the Osborne is the luggable that looks like the compact portable, or the K Pro, like a sewing machine, kind of. And the Sol 20 is one of the first, like computers that can also be a terminal.
Oh, wow.
So, anyway, like he came and talked for 2.5 hours just about, like everything and nothing.
That is awesome.
So,
Inverse phase. We not to cut you short. We got a bunch of
no, it's
questions
fine.
and stuff coming in. I want to, if it's okay, I want to get some of these.
Oh, yeah, I should be paying attention to
No, it's
chat.
okay. And also, real quick, before we start taking the questions, if it's all right, I just want to kind of go over how tonight's going to work, if that would be all right with you.
Yeah, you should talk to your stream, right?
This is your stream tonight. I'm just directing traffic tonight. So
Go for it, dude.
here's how it all works. So, as you heard from Inverse Phase, he's collecting funds. We got to get his museum moved into a nice new home. You said it's going to be in Pittsburgh, is where you're looking.
Yep.
So,
We've already
right.
got the building. I mean, well, we don't
That's
own
awesome.
the building. We found
But you
the
found
building,
it, so it's
and we're ready
literally
to-
it's just getting those funds now. Well, just getting, like it's an easy task. Obviously, takes and you've done a hell of a job so far. I mean, if you all take a look below, Inverse Phase, thanks to all of the amazing supporters, there's 290 total so far that have donated. $163,213 is in the Bloop Museum purse to get moved to Pittsburgh. It's another, what do we have, $77,000 and change roughly to get to the 240,000 goal. Obviously, you're doing a hell of a job. You're a one-man show, which is incredible. I had no idea. Like I don't know if you're all aware. Like this is Bloop Museum is right there. That's the Bloop Museum. That's the entire. That's like the the entire infrastructure of the museum itself. University does an amazing job. He's going to show us in a little tour of the museum. But what's going to happen is if we get to certain goals tonight. And unfortunately, I don't have it's all going to be manual math, so, I'll be keeping track of my little notepad here, since, Twitch did not recognize Bloop in their database. Boo, Twitch. But there's going to be some albums that Inverse Phase is going to be giving out if we hit certain thresholds. So if we get to $64, and right now we're at $48, by the way, Inverse Phase is going to give a Guilty Gear album. These are all albums that he created, that he composed and mixed, and he'll tell you all about them in a little bit. it. But if we get to $64, the person that gets us to 64 will get the Guilty Gear album. If we get to 128, you'll get the retro covered album. $256 will get you the Chip Lust album. $384, the person that gets us there will get the Pretty Hate Machine album. And if that sounds a lot like Nine Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine, you'd be accurate. It is an amazing Inverse Phase chip-tunified rendition of amazing Nine Inch Nails song from the amazing Pretty Hate Machine album. If we get to $512, Inverse Phase will create an outro song for us. So, when we get to the end and I say to you, I hope you don't regret coming here the rest of your lives, and I tell you about my links, we've been using the Zophar's domain Zophar theme forever, the Omni Zophar theme, but if we get to $512, we'll have a nice new shiny theme there. I have no idea what Inverse Phase would have planned for it, but I'm excited to find out if we get there. And should we get to the biggest stretch goal, which would be $1,024 tonight, Inverse Phase will compose not just an outro song for us, but he will give us a nice new shiny version of We've Come Zophar, which is the intro song to Zophar's Realm and many of my YouTube videos since 2022. How awesome is that? So that's how all of that's going to work. So you'll be able to see the live updates, right down here. Every time somebody donates. Again, the Bloop Museum is a 501c3 organization that everyone but Twitch seems to recognize in their databases. And they'll eventually fix it, I'm sure, in 2017,
The upshot
2073.
is when you donate, if you donate on the Give Butter site, you should get a receipt in your email right away. And you can literally write that off of your taxes if you want. It's simple, it's straightforward. If you work for an IT company,
Cyrus Zeal.
Cyrus Zeal is getting the Guilty Gear album.
Thank you so much, CZ, for the $16. We have made it to the, let's see, it's 32, 40, so $64. We are up to 64, and Cyrus Zeal has won the Guilty Gear album. Guilty Gear.
So,
I'm gonna,
we'll get in touch and get your address.
Yes, so I think most of you are on my Discord channel. So Inverse Phase is in there as well. So CZ, if you just want to Discord Inverse Phase your information, I think you go by P2E on Discord.
On Discord, I'm still Inverse Phase.
Yeah, you're still Inverse Phase. Okay, good. And in that case, Inverse Phase and Discord. Bing, bang, boom. Boom. Love it. I want to put up a total so we can have a running tally here.
Sure.
So let me... Real quick, we're doing this live here. We're doing this on the fly. We're going to do it live. We'll call this total donations. This way we can keep track. And we'll say
Weird,
total.
I don't have to introduce my music because
smart.
literally
That's
everyone's
today,
forced to
and we'll
listen
leave you
to
with
it every stream.
I can't do it.
Exactly.
We'll do it live.
But in between
We'll do it
MagFest and now,
Do it
I
live.
can
I
say
can
that,
write it, and we'll do it
this is the
live.
thing that I've been doing. So if you haven't checked this kind of stuff out, the thing that kind of put me on the map was doing chiptune covers. I do originals. Obviously, I did the Zophar theme, which is original, but I also have a couple game soundtracks under my belt. Beatdown City is also a recent release that just came out last October. Both the game and the soundtrack. There's some stuff from we got remixes with Mega Ran and Open Mike Eagle, and Show You Suck, and Too Mellow did the beats and mashups with my stuff. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. We might even maybe we can give some other stuff around away a little bit later, like some download codes or something.
Yeah,
to keep things going. But,
that'd be cool.
Not to just spring this giveaway on you, because we've got this this very very delicately thrown together notepad thing directly under the fundraiser.
I hear that.
But is there? I should be maybe watching the chat a little bit. I would love to hear from people in the chat about things that they'd like to see in the museum while we're tooling around. What are you doing, Zophar?
Oh, nothing much. Give a little boosty boost, a little bit of help there, a little 16-bit action. I love my 16-bit era, so I just thought it would be appropriate.
Yeah, hey, speaking of 16 bits, something I have back here in my office that I don't have on display in the museum yet, although eventually I'm going to build a software backup display and a
It
copying
was.
display that's all kind of a part of the same thing. One of the things that we wanted to know way back in the day, there are some great stories about this. We can maybe tell some of them or something, but like we were running the emulator channel, EMU or MU or whatever, on like 13 different networks. We would jump around as they would get shut down or whatever. But one of the things that was interesting is in people acquiring ROMs and wondering, like, Mom, Dad, where do ROMs come from? You know, I have something that can make you some ROMs, and I thought this would be kind of an interesting, cool show and tell
Ooh, let's see what we
if
got
that's
here.
okay with everyone else. So here we have a Super Pro Fighter. This is not the most popular thing. We would usually use Super Magicoms or Super Wildcard DX or whatever back in the day. Those were much bigger. But the Super Pro Fighter is cool because we got this cute little flip thing right here.
Huh. Okay.
This can do both Super Nintendo or Super Famicom and Sega Genesis.
Ooh.
And on the back here, you can see that you plug in an adapter on the back to plug it into whichever system. And then it literally runs firmware on the system to allow you to throw a cartridge in the front here, plug it into the back of the system, and you can just play games if you want to, but there's this convenient thing on the other side.
Ah,
Wonder what
nice.
that's for. So you could also maybe just put something in there and say, hey, I want to play this on my system, and it might just work.
It might just work.
Um,
Might just. I love it. I
so
love the the 3.5-inch floppy. That's great.
the Magicom and the Wild Card, depending on which model you have parallel ports on the back, and you'd actually be able to plug it in your machine and run dumping software that would dump straight onto
That's
your hard
awesome.
drive. Back in the day, we'd use stuff like IPS Tool to do translation patches. I think maybe you still do. But IPS Tool had like, gosh, I don't even remember the name of the package, but you could literally support the dumper directly and just patch on the fly, and do all sorts of cool
Nice.
stuff like that. So
That's
hopefully
awesome.
that's
I
a cool treat for
I like it.
yeah.
So how will that work as far as the when you said the giveaway? How will you work that out?
Oh, well, we're not going to give away the Double Pro Fighter. This is my only one.
Oh, okay.
But I thought that maybe since, you and I are emulation buddies and maybe a couple people here because of the emulation, they'd like to see one. I
Yeah,
won't
no
be giving
doubt.
away a Double Pro Fighter. We'd like more backup devices and dev kits and stuff in the museum, so that people can try them out and see what they're like and, do all the interactive
I like
stuff
it. I
that
like
was
it.
talking about earlier.
Good stuff.
But yeah, if I suppose we could work this into a giveaway. You wouldn't be getting one of these devices, but certainly if someone were to donate one of these to us, I would happily walk them out of the museum with a CD and give them some other cool stuff.
Good stuff.
Like I'm not I'm not extremely well off here,
No,
but
totally.
which is why I'm obviously running that fundraiser. Am I pointing? No, I'm not pointing the right way. It's over this way. No,
Yeah, that way. No, you were right. You're right the
whatever.
first time.
Yeah.
You were right the first time.
Yep. All right. You're about to see anyway. Whatever. So, I would love to see people bring their stuff that they're maybe you're not tired of looking at it, but you never use it. Or something like that, and you get full visitation rights. You know, you can come and play with your stuff. Just I'd like to make it so that other people can play with your stuff, and that's one of our big missions. Imagine like a 13-year-old that's totally into like retro pie stuff or whatever, who finally gets to kind of get exposed to like emulators and kind of, like what they were like and where they came from back in the day and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
that's kind of a cool idea.
That's awesome.
Um,
So
but
Leper wanted to point out he is a proud member of the Number MU Geriatric Club. You remember Leper, right? from the 90s?
I do.
We
I
appreciate
wonder
you,
if I
Leper.
have your picture somewhere. Were you in the photo album?
Uh-oh. Leper opened a can of worms. See what you get for saying something?
But
What's up, the SML
yeah.
podcast? No audio, so you can't just listen and want to say hi. Hey, we appreciate you, but you have no audio, so you can't hear. So I'll just say, we appreciate you, the SML podcast. And someone else was in here earlier that I think you know. Let me scroll up, see who it was. I think it was Broswell. Yeah, Broswell says it's
yeah,
Bob
that's
from the
Bob.
Computer Museum at System Source. That's awesome. Co-located with Bloop. So, you mentioned that there were a few of you in this one building, right? So Bob
Yeah.
is one of them.
So 10, 15 minutes from now, after I get out of this place, I'm going to walk around the museum, and you're going to see how it all kind of gels together. Sometimes we joke and call it a museum shopping mall, or something like that. But it's actually that we're all kind of in the same room, and we've got our own kind of little areas.
Gotcha.
But the room is like a solid 12,000 square feet for the big room, or something like that. And then the smaller room next to it is another there's still cubicles in there, and they're not a part of the museum. They're actually like people's offices. So,
Gotcha.
like half of that room is, like my video game exhibit, and I own a UNIVAC 418 that's in there, and Bob has one of his favorite toys. He has an old school Linotype in there, and we've got some arcade machines and stuff like that in there. So, so that's yet another room, and then we've got a room with a Cray. Yes, you can sit on it if you come. So, like if you've never sat on a Cray 1, that machine is there. There's all sorts of stuff. I feel like I accidentally ADHD'd away from you queuing up that track. Were you
Oh yeah,
able to get that up?
we're ready to go when you tell me to play it.
Yeah, good. I mean, go ahead and play it.
All right, here it goes.
Is it in the background?
It's
can we
starting
talk
right
over it?
now. Now it is playing.
Yeah. Okay.
Can everyone hear it? Okay. Let me know if do I need to jump the volume up? Tell me now. I can. Here, let me pop it up. It's a little low. There. Does that sound okay, everybody? Okay, good. They hear it. All right,
That's
let's
good.
see.
So a little bit of background information. This is a 16 kilobit, like MPEG layer 2.5 MP3, and this is a recording of the first sound that you would ever hear from SNES 96. Back in the day, there was this huge buzz and excitement. We were running SNES 96, SNES 97. There was VSMC, if you remember that. There were all of these. We were still playing, like Nesticle had just come out, Genesis. We were still playing. Just INES had barely hit the market. Some people still had Paso Fami.
I remember that was the first.
Thing, so.
That was the first emulator I ever used was Pasifami. It was Pasifami, Super Pasifami, and INES were my first three that I all tried in the same day, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
I remember SNES 96. It's funny when I bring it up. Most people don't remember there was an SNES 96 and 97 before there was SNES 9X, and it all rolled into the one. So when I say it, I'm like, "What do you mean SNES 96? You mean SNES 9X?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I mean SNES 96."
96 was faster and generally speaking had more hacks to make it more compatible, but SNES 97 had more authentic emulation.
Gotcha.
And eventually they merged the two.
I remember.
And turned it into SNES 9X. But SNES 96 it was version 0.73, came out for Linux first, and had
Hope you don't mind me
audio,
stuffing my face
and none
here.
of the DOS or Windows kits had audio, but anyone who had Linux had audio. And I literally downloaded over a 56K modem, and I lived in the boonies, so I was downloading it like 26.4 or something like that. Downloaded like 50 disk sets worth of Slackware Linux, overnight, all night, whatever. Went and got this junk 400 meg hard drive from my math teacher in high school and installed Slackware Linux on my computer so that I could be the first person to ever hear sound out of SNES 96 in the MU channel. And I was like, how am I going to capture this? And back in the day, we barely had full duplex. Man, what are you eating? Looks good.
So this is my wife's. I apologize. I'm stuffing my face. This is dinner. She made what she calls it egg roll in a bowl. So it's everything you might expect to find in an egg roll, but without the,
pretty good.
outside.
Yeah, without the wrap.
It's
Nice.
without the wrap essentially. So it's really good. I hope you don't mind me
So-
stuffing my face while we're streaming
Nah,
here.
chow down, dude.
It's really good.
So part of the reason that I'm telling that, and probably Lufia is going to end sometime soon because I'm rambling a lot.
It just ended. I hit stop because it was about to go to the next one. I have them all in a row.
Switch to either Macross or Sailor Moon.
All right, loading Macross right now.
So these are all MP3s that I made, and I didn't have a full duplex sound card or anything like that. So I literally plugged my sound card into an 8-track recorder and
Ooh.
recorded 8
remember
tracks
8-track.
of Nintendo music, and then played them back to my sound card to capture it. And then while I was doing all of this, I put the MP3s up. Oh, we got a donation from Leper. Thank you for the support.
Oh, Leper, thank you so much for the $47 towards the Bloop Museum. We appreciate you for that. Let me update
So-
the total. Sorry,
Yeah.
keep going. You're good.
So anyway, I put these MP3s online on my really crappy version of a website back then, and pasted it in the channel to everyone in MU. And I got this message. I don't remember if this. We have been just chatting in the channel for a while, but we didn't really do a whole lot of PMing back and forth or whatever. I get this PM from you, and you're like, dude, what's your number? I'm gonna call you and listen to this live. And I started we were just trying all of the different ROMs and trying to figure out which ones had good sound and which ones didn't have good sound. And and I remember talking to you for an hour on the phone.
Do you still have the log before we started talking on the phone of me saying that to you? Do you have any old IRC logs of that?
Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to look it up later.
Yeah,
but,
not now. I'm just curious afterwards. That'd be a fun little time. You know how I love time capsules. I mean, you have a whole museum of time capsule, but
yeah, I definitely have some IRC logs from 1997, and I probably have some from later and earlier.
Everyone hear what Inverse Phase just said? You remember everyone that was here for Zophar's Domain Day a couple weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
And I was pining over the fact, look, leprosy, no one knows this. Up until tonight, I thought I was the only one, at least that publicly declared so, that had old IRC logs from the 90s, but mine all start from mid-1998 onwards because I F-disked my computer trying to install Linux when I was a teenager like a moron. Anyways, I F-disk HD, I'm like, what have I done? It was bad. But, so Inverse Face has logs that go back before then. He might even have the famous, Nesticle situation logs, maybe. I'd be curious to see. Inverse Phase has always been awesome, but he's like my new best friend now, even more so than he was before.
The big thing I remember about Nesticle was that it was the first thing to run Punch-Out, and that's why we were freaking out about it. It supported, INES Mapper 9 or something like that. Nothing else did it, including INES.
I remember that.
But
7 was
we
another
were all
tough
playing
one.
Punch-Out.
7 was the rare mapper, and that was another hard one. Like Wizards and Warriors, I think Battletoads, all the rare stuff used that. And they weren't initially emulated either. And then Castlevania 3, which I think was Mapper 5, right? That one had vertical scrolling problems. Whenever you'd get to that stage 1, the scroll area, nothing ever emulated it right until Nesticle, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
So Macross might be about to end.
Yeah, it just ended.
You should switch to something a little bit glitchier or weirder. What else is in there?
There's
Hold on.
DKC, EWJ, KI, I assume that's
Okay.
Killer Instinct, Mario, and Ranma.
So Mario is probably the worst.
I'm loading it now.
All of the sound effects work fine, but the song just plays this buh, 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 like it's playing scales or something.
Mm-hmm. What's it supposed to be?
This is just, I just turned on the game, so like you should be hearing the intro song.
Oh, that was the intro. Was that? Are these?
It didn't play any intro music. It just played that, and
Are
we
these?
got to hear Mario.
Are these all from SNES 96?
Yeah,
Okay.
from that very first version.
Wow.
So like that one's really bad. Earthworm Jim is not good.
I'll load that one next.
You get all sorts of weird glitchy stuff. That's EWJ. Killer Instinct runs pretty well. Most of them, you can tell they've got all sorts of speed problems. Not only did the emulator run at like wild, crazy speeds, but we're all trying to emulate like Super Nintendo on like Pentium 133s. So, like that doesn't help any at all. No one's running games at a full frame rate back then. It's just truly wild.
So Rockness actually, that it's so funny too. Like, Google AI thinks that that Rockness is arguably one of the oldest, if not the oldest, mature NES emulators. Like, come on now, we know better, don't we? But Nesticle had Castlevania 3 working before Rockness. RPG Capper. Maybe Rockness perfected it, but Nesticle had it working, playable. Not the original version, but
perhaps. Yeah.
Later in 97.
All right.
Rockness was 98.
Well, so it might be time soon to abscond and
Let's abscond.
Start running around the museum. I just figured, like these might be things that you want to, like obviously this isn't like fantastic background music. Maybe you want to throw on the Beatdown City soundtrack
Let's
after
do
this
it.
or something.
And real quick, so you all know before you abscond out there, just as a reminder for anyone coming in, tonight is our fundraiser for the amazing 501c3 charity organization of the Bloop Museum, dedicated to all kinds of cool electronics and gizmos, which you're going to see really soon. We have successfully raised $127 tonight. Inverse Phase has managed to raise $163,292 over... How long have you been raising this for, Inverse Phase, approximately?
Oh, God. It's been a month. Let's try that again. It's been a year. We started this last year around this time. I think I started it right after Thanksgiving last year, so we're almost at the 1 year mark.
That's awesome.
So... Go ahead.
Sorry. So... We're doing tiers for rewards, little stretch goals. So we've already passed the first one, which was $64 for the Guilty Gear album, which Cyrus Zeal has won, and Cyrus Zeal has messaged Inverse Phase in Discord, I think, at this point. If we get to $128, which we are exactly $1 away from, that person will get a retro covered album from Inverse Phase. $256 is the Chip Lust album. $384 is the Pretty 8 Machine album. Again, all composed by Inverse Phase. Pretty 8 Machine in particular, they're all amazing. But Pretty 8 Machine is one of my favorites of the four, because that one is covers of Nine Inch Nails music from Pretty Hate Machine from 1989, except in chip-tunified Inverse Phase style. If we get to $512 tonight, Inverse Phase will compose a brand new outro song for the Zophar's Realm stream, which right now we've just been using the Omni Zophar music. And if we get to the full final stretch goal of $1,024 tonight before the stream is over, Inverse Phase will not just get us an outro song, but he will remix and recompose a brand new updated version of the We've Come Zophar intro theme that you're all used to hearing over the years of watching streams in the Realm and my YouTube channel. And so... you said you want me to pop on... Here, let me turn off KI here. All right, and you want me to do... Inverse Phase. And we said...
start the Ultra Remix soundtrack.
You want the... Sorry, go ahead.
IPH010.
Let me see here. I see Metal Abrasions, Treachery and Beatdown City, Shuttle Scuttle, Chipping of Isaac... Retro Recovered, Chip Lust, Save Chiptune, Welcome to Beatdown City Single, Pretty 8 Machine. Which one you want me to play? You want me to do Beatdown City?
Do Beatdown City, yeah.
All right. Start from the top?
Yeah.
All right, let me just lower it because I don't want us to be overpowered. All right, can everybody hear it okay? We're not overpowering?
So I'm gonna go on camera mute for a second and get myself to some big computers.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully if I can figure out how to, like, unmuting my mic for whatever reason is like a little pain in the rear. This phone.
Let me refresh that real quick.
No, baby, come on.
There we go.
And you won't have to look at my face anymore. You can, come on. And then I will run up front. Begin the tour, and I have probably about an hour of time before we have to take a break, because that's about how long my
Yeah, it's
beautiful 5-phone battery will run.
I think you just
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Camera. Okay, so you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we lost video, but we got audio
okay.
still.
That's fine. I am now on the run, and hopefully nothing disconnects.
Is this creepy? Taco Loco, thank you for the $8. We have surpassed $128. You have won the retro covered album, Taco Loco. Let me just jot that down here. 128, Taco Loco. Taco Loco, if you want to shoot a message over to Inverse Phase in my Discord, he will get you that album. Let me just go ahead and update the total. Thank you so much for the $8. We greatly appreciate it. Let's see
And we
here.
should mention that unless you specifically opt for a download code, this is a real CD delivered to your house.
Correct.
Just for anyone that had any sort of, I don't know. All right.
Is the music okay in the background there, everybody? Like, is it overpowering my voice, or is it okay? Let me know.
It's fine with me.
All this music you're hearing here, all composed by Inverse Phase.
Alright. Hopefully my camera image will appear again once my camera figures its stuff out. Come on.
Yeah, Inverse Phase just getting his video feed ready for us.
This is what I get for live streaming with a Galaxy S5.
Doodly doodle doo.
There we go.
Exactly, Leper. It's oddly interesting. There we go. All right.
Alright, so hopefully an image of me. There we go. Hey!
Hey, hey, hey!
You know.
What's happening?
And we're going to turn this camera around so that I can aim the camera at things instead of at me.
Doodle doo. Doodly doodly doo. Doodly doodly doo. Doodly doodly doo. So this music, everybody, this, if you remember the Zophar's Retro Rewind episode 1, which I know seems like a distant memory here. It's been over a year. We're still trying to finish 2. But this music featured in the episode at one point for a good couple minutes. I took a lot of stuff from this, from Shuttle Scuttle, and a couple others. Inverse Phase was kind enough to let us use it. Doodle doo, doodle doo, doodle doo, doodle doo, doodle doo.
How turn camera?
It's doodle doo.
Come on,
It's doodle
jeez.
doo.
Maybe there should be a fundraiser for a new phone.
Right?
All right. Hopefully I see my image pause, so hopefully you're gonna look at some beautiful
There we go.
large computers here. Yeah.
All right, I see
that's
some
better.
beautiful large computers. All right, walk us through what we're seeing here.
All right, so usually when you come to the museum, you start in this room. We call it the deck room because Bob told me to deck the halls.
Nice.
DEC actually stands for Digital Equipment Corporation. Here you go. How about a visual aid?
Ah, okay.
So these aren't just, and this might be something for, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of me as a kid, right? I would be walking around seeing these logos on computers that's like digital, and I was like, of course it's digital. It's a digital computer. That's what computers are. Well, it turns out there are analog computers, but this digital is literally just the brand name of these computers. So that there is a PDP-12. This here is a PDP-8. Right next to it is a teletype. Do you have any Linux users in the crowd?
Wow. Tell me about the teletype. How did this work?
So when you log into a Unix machine, or a Mac for that matter, or whatever, and you go to the terminal and you type who, and it tells you who's logged into the computer, and it's like you're logged in on TTY0. Are you trying it right now?
No, yeah, right. No, I wanted to thank Kefka for the 75 stream streak. So thank you, Kefka. I just didn't want to interrupt you. You were on a roll.
That's fine. So there is a teletype. This is the first thing that anyone would ever log into a Unix machine with. The machine that would first run Unix is called a PDP-10. We don't have a real PDP-10, but we have a PyDP-10, which is literally like someone reconstructed and did a recreation of the panel.
Oh, wow.
And you're never going to believe this. They just bolted a Raspberry Pi to the back of it. So now you can literally power up a Raspberry Pi and play with the front switches like you're playing with a real PDP-10.
I see emulation is still strong in this one, Padawan.
Yeah, they run emulators. It's called, the emulator for this one is called SimH.
Exactly, Culinary. Yeah, everything has come full circle. Didn't they?
Yeah, it's really wild.
Didn't they use those at some point? I'm trying to remember. Like, didn't they use some form of that for like if you were hard of hearing, or like, didn't they?
So you're thinking of TTD.
Oh, I'm thinking of TTD.
Which is a TTY for deaf people. So it does. There is a crossover.
Gotcha.
This is a Model 33. The 35 was kind of a big monster thing, and they would paint them green and put them in deaf schools. And so people that were deaf or hard of hearing would call them the Green Monster, and you could literally use them to communicate. And I mean, it's just, a teletype is literally just back and forth telegrams. Right?
Wow.
It's instant messenger over a wire.
Couple questions coming in for the inverse phase. QPA wants to know if these are yours or are they Bob's, and Taco Loco wants to know if you have the Pentagon PC.
So I don't have a Pentagon, but I do have a Speccy. The Pentagon is the penultimate ZX Spectrum, or I'm sorry, ZX Spectrum. For the Brits or everyone else that isn't us.
I can't get used to the whole Z thing. I hear it, and I'm like, it's Z.
So I do have a chance at a ZX Spectrum next, which I could run, Pentagon stuff on, but I don't have a real Pentagon. But we're working on it. We have a couple people that might have one that they could donate, and that is a Russian clone of the ZX Spectrum that has like a ton of RAM and stuff like that. So another Russian machine I'm working on, just for what it's worth, is the Electronica BK0011 or 0010. Those are two personal computer machines. One of the first personal computers that you could buy Tetris for, and there's a story there. Anyway, so that's another one that we want to get but don't have. But I have the manuals for it, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, nice. Taco Loco's asking if you have a Raspberry Pi 5.
Yeah, we got some Pi 5s around here. The Pis usually run the exhibits. It's we hook them up to touch screens so that people can look at the stuff without having to look at placards.
Deckard Bain.
Jumping back to
Deckard Bain says he got to see a green monster when he thought it was a super old typewriter.
I mean, they are super old typewriters. They're typewriters with modems jammed up to their butt.
Indeed. Yeah, the frame rate is Inverse Phase is trying to keep it retro, right?
Yep.
Trying to give you the retro feel.
Frame rate is bad because my phone is bad because we're streaming with retro technology here.
Exactly.
So to go back to Cupa's question, which was, are these or mine, or are they Bob's? This room is pretty much entirely, actually no, this room is entirely Bob's. But we do have some of the PyDPs, like Bloop has some of these in their own collection, so we would set those up. We do have connections that would hopefully park one or two of these at Bloop Museum. We aim to acquire at least probably a PDP-8. This is one of the most popular models here. And
Wow.
for what it's worth, these are also the easiest to service and turn on. So this is literally a machine that runs and turns on, and you can do stuff like type in memory addresses. In fact, they gave us a cheat sheet right on the front of the machine.
How loud?
see this
How
is a
loud
rim
is it?
loader.
How loud is that machine when you turn it on? Like, can you audibly hear it?
Can you hear it right now?
Here, I'm gonna pause the music for a second so we can try to hear. Let's see.
I'll get the phone closer.
Yeah, get it close. Let's see.
Hear the fan noise?
Very faint.
There are some fans. I
Very
mean, like
faint.
it sounds like someone turned on like a box fan. It's not,
Gotcha.
but it's on low. You know, it's not
Okay.
like, you know, it's not crazy bad.
Got it. Just didn't know how loud it might be.
Secure all positions.
So,
Continue.
so
Here we
the way
go.
you use these front panel machines is you literally look at
Full
the rim
ahead.
loader. This is your
Next
cheat
stop,
sheet. Over on the left,
Zophar's
you see
domain.
7756. On the right, you see 6032. So you have to learn binary octal here. So you type in 7 in binary. That's 111, 7, 111,
wow.
5, 1016, 110. And then you hit load add. And that puts that in the program counter, because then you're going to do something with that number, right? You could start a program from there, but we don't know if that program is in memory. So we actually have to go over here, exam. It's not a medical exam. Exam means exam in memory. So now we're looking at what's in memory there. And that is 6014. So that's not 6032. So I could go and type that in, and then I could go over here and hit dep, which is deposit. That puts it in memory. And we're literally like, I mean, this is like debuggers or cheat mode in your emulator or whatever, where you're literally inserting values into memory while you're running a program. But here's the other thing. Notice the run light is not on.
Yeah, why is
We're
that?
not running anything. The computer is not running. The computer is on. That doesn't mean we're running a program. And this is something that you really wouldn't do with a computer these days. You know, you'd be like, oh yeah, CPU stop. I want you to go to a different part of memory or something like that. No one would do that. But in this case, we can, and we do.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
When-
I'm not actually going to type in the rim loader because it'd take like 5-10 minutes.
When was the
then
inverse phase? When was the PDP-8? When did it come out? Like, how old is this machine?
So here's a receipt for the machine from 1969.
Oh my God! Wow.
And you can see that some poor guy had to pay for multiply. And it cost $2,500 for the computer to be able to multiply. You can also
Jesus
see that they
Christ.
got a asynchronous serial line interface.
Zoom
These
zoom
days, that
out
would
zoom
be a
out a little
USB
bit.
port.
It's coming in
Oh,
blurry.
sorry,
Go.
yeah, it's a little blurry.
There you go. Now it's good. Now it's good.
That better?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
dude.
you can see someone paid $1,500 for a serial port.
55-year-old computer. Like, holy shit. Wow. That's amazing. So, real quick, Inverse Phase,
nuts.
before you move on to the next part here. So, the Bloop Museum, he hasn't even showed you a fraction of all the cool stuff in here, but Bloop Museum needs your help. They need a new building. He's identified a building in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my home state, Pennsylvania. And I swear I'm gonna, at some point, I'm gonna visit you, whichever building you wind up in. So please consider helping Inverse Phase out here. Help the Bloop Museum. They are a 501c3 organization, fully registered charity. Right now, we have $135 raised tonight. Inverse Phase has raised a total of $163,300 and just needs another $77,000 in change to be able to move. So all of your donations, all of your charitable givings tonight will go towards Inverse Phase. Just use the link that is right here in chat that I just popped in. Click that link. If you can donate, much appreciated. If you can't, we understand that too. Just getting the word out, signal boosting on X or Reddit or Discord or Blue Sky, Facebook, wherever. Tell your friends. This museum is amazing. I can't imagine like losing a piece of history because Inverse Phase has trouble, trying to get it moved where it needs to go to be able to, thrive. So please, please, please consider donating. Right now, we have some giveaways going on. Inverse Phase is giving out a Guilty Gear album and retro covered to Cyrus Zeal and Taco Loco. We still have the Chip Lust album for $256, the first person to get us there. $384, first person to get us there. We'll get and these are all physical copies, by the way, of the Pretty 8 Machine album, which is Inverse Phase's chip-tunified cover of awesome Nine Inch Nails tunes from the Pretty Hate Machine album. If we get to $512 tonight before the end of the stream, Inverse Phase will compose us an outro song for our Twitch stream for Zophar's Realm. We've just been using the Zophar's Domain Omni Zophar theme until this point. And if we get to the final stretch goal of $1,024, Inverse Phase will compose not just an outro song, but redo our intro song that you've all been listening to for 3 years since early 2022. So please help Bloop Museum. Help Computer, exactly doing the obvious. Consider a donation. Every dollar helps. Back to you, Inverse Phase.
All right. And by the way, we know that ain't nobody got 77 grand to just throw on that fundraiser. So we set these goals at low dollar amounts so that you can hit them. Don't feel bad about, throwing those $16 and $32 donations at the museum. Every little bit puts a dent in what we need to do. So I thought that I might take you across the hallway and show you something uber famous.
Ooh. What have we here? What are we seeing?
So back in the 80s, if you wanted the fastest computer in the world, or maybe even the 70s, what kind of computer would you get?
You tell us.
It would be a computer that might say...
Cray!
Isn't this totally cray-cray?
This is cray-cray.
This is a computer that not only has its own built-in air conditioner...
Indeed, Black Magic.
And 60 miles of wire.
Holy shit. Wow.
And circuit boards up the wazoo. All of these fires are supposed to be loaded with them. You'll see that some of them have been emptied by the former owner who just gave these away to friends and sold boards on eBay as souvenirs. We actually recently recovered the certificate of authenticity to prove that this one that we found, it came out of this machine, but it was sold back in 1997 to someone.
Gotcha.
But despite all of that, maybe your favorite feature is the fact that it has a Naugahyde couch.
Oh, look at that. You can't get a computer without a nice couch.
So this is an entire room. We're not going to spend long in here because I got to get back into the depths of the museum. But
yeah,
all the computers in here are supercomputers from Cray.
This is back when they used to try to build electronics into furniture. I remember my grandpa had I want to say it's a early 1970s maybe style TV. Maybe it was late 60s, early 70s. And it literally, the TV was like this big, but then there was this giant wooden frame and almost table around it where you could put things on top and but I've never seen an electronic anything with a couch attached. That's definitely new to me. That's amazing.
This
Wow.
one doesn't have a couch, but this is totally what happens when your George Foreman grill and a transformer fall in love. And it has a hood that comes up.
Man, look at this. Oh, we have just run out, Inverse Phase. We have run out of treachery and beatdown. What shall I load next?
You want to switch to Shuttle Scuttle?
Shuttle Scuttle it is. Here it comes. Code number 573. Continue.
So in the back of the Cray room, we've got this thing right here. Let me give you an idea of the size of this thing.
Wow.
This is a 1 meter wide hard drive platter from 1962. The whole hard drive is 200 megs. This platter on one side is 4 megs. Cute lady for
4
scale
megabytes
here.
on that massive platter.
So there's the whole hard drive array.
Wild.
This would literally be your company's NAS in 1962, and it would cost you a whopping $12 million. That's not adjusted for inflation.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
But hey, you can get 3 albums of MP3s at low quality on
There
it.
you go.
In the middle, we
Leper's
have
asking how many RPMs did it spin inverse phase?
1200.
1200?
1200.
1200.
It also has a 900 RPM mode, I think.
That's amazing.
Here is a cute little compact flash card. Right around the time we would be talking on the phone and dicking around with emulators, this would be a compact flash with a spinning disc in it. This is what the iPod hard drives would be derived from. This one didn't come out of an iPod. This is the IBM micro drive. It's a 4 gig or 8 gig, depends on the size that you want, hard drive that fits in a compact flash slot. And this was because a dude was pissed that he couldn't go on a jungle safari and, you know, he didn't want to carry like 15 256 meg cards with him.
Damn.
I go down the hallway. We're going to look at some Byte magazine covers. The artist actually is featured at the end of the wall. Aubrey, who is now the head of the National Electronics Museum that I was talking about, actually went to a real art school and did this like wallpaper of Byte magazine covers.
Damn.
In 1981. This was a real dreamer magazine, less tech support, more like what's the future going to be looking like, and they would throw the topic at the dude that did the covers that you just saw. So they'd be like, hey, we're going to do an issue on, you know, programming methods or whatever, and you'd see this one. Or, hey, what's a future computer going to look like? Maybe like this.
Damn.
30 years later, you can buy one at the Apple store. You know, like, what's AI going to do in the future? Maybe plagiarize some pictures. So people think that this guy is like some sort of, you know, like sort of techno prophet or something like that. He obviously had the right idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say they weren't that far off the mark. Leper says he remembers one brand of MP3 player that was sold with the micro drives. People would buy them and gut them for the cheap drives. Oh, that's wild. G. Levy says he used to sell the micro drives with cameras back in the day.
Yep. It's real tech. Here's the software piracy issue. Arr.
Yar, me hearties. It's a floppy pirate.
I'm looking at Byte, and I gotta show you why the tour can't even be covered tonight.
Holy crap. There's a lot of stuff in there. I love it. Is that a dream catcher right there?
No, this is Kipu knots. This is the Incan, basically the first use of base 10 in the wild.
Oh, wow.
So that would be like their calculator, so to speak.
Speaking of pirates, Yar Inverse Phase gets what's happening. We got RPG Kappa redeeming the piratey hat. It's gotta go on. You know me, hearties, that this chair continues to be high, says I, but while 'tis true that my debauchery was me way of compensating, the rum may always be gone, and I may be the worst pirate ye ever heard of. Ye have heard of
No, I'm much worse. I can show you a calculator.
A calculator! Remember to delete your ROMs after 24 hours. I should make a retro rewind episode if we ever finish 2, all about that stupid fake rule. Yeah, if you delete your ROMs after 24 hours, it's not illegal. Oh, I remember those days, Black Magic.
So there is, everyone, there's so much to see in here that, like, there's no way we're going to be able to pack this entire thing into a stream. So either I got to come back or you got to come down here.
Definitely.
You know, there's some Commodores, here's some luggables. We were talking about Lee earlier. Guess what? He signed his own machine.
Can I see that real quick again? What were you just showing?
Yeah.
That his signature? What does that say?
Sorry.
The guy on the left doesn't have a chance. He's 23.5 pounds heavier. And who's that signed by?
That's signed by the designer of the machine.
Ah, nice. Very nice.
And he's referring to the fact that there's a machine right to the right that's better.
Now, what was in these machines? Like, what kind of...
These are Osborne's.
These are Osborne.
They have a Z80 CPU. They run CPM. But maybe if you're a gamer and you don't know anything about computers, your closest link to these machines is going to be either a TI-83 or a Sega Master System or a ColecoVision.
And the Sega Genesis used the Z82 as well, I think, to drive the YM2612, right?
So you can use it as a sound CPU. It's not required. The Z80 is mostly in there because what they literally did is they wanted backwards compatibility.
With the
there's
Master
the what did they call it? The power base adapter. It turns out that is just a slot adapter. There's no master system in the power base converter. It's all in the Genesis already. So basically, the power base converter just changes the pins around and then holds one of the pins high or low for Sega Master System mode.
Interesting.
And the entire Sega Master System is in there.
Wow.
But the cool thing is that just like the PS2 has a PS1 inside, and they use the PS1 for like I/O in PS2 games or whatever, the Genesis can do the same thing with the Master System. So you have all of these extra chips that you can just be like, hey, do some stuff. And, like the Z80 and the 68K can be running at the same time. One of them can be doing sound, the other one can be doing graphics, stuff like that. So there is no 68K in this machine. It's just the Z80. But that gives you an idea of, and I mean, these are all luggables, so they're all different. Like down here, this is actually my first computer right here. The compact portable is a PCXT clone.
Okay.
It's the same form factor. It's like a little sewing machine looking thing. And I say little, it's like 35 pounds. Actually, I think it's more like 30 pounds, but it's 28 down here. I feel like it might have weighed more. Maybe I'm just remembering being 11 and trying to carry it around airports.
It felt like that many pounds.
But there are all sorts of luggables. Here's the K Pro. It's very like metal and angular. This is what goes on the cover of an industrial album, probably. Or the Hyperion. These guys actually cloned the PC at the same time as Compact, but they're Canadian, so people didn't really pay as much attention.
Gotcha.
But they've got this cool thing. One of my favorite things about the Hyperion is how the keyboard just kind of slides in and snaps into it like
neat.
that. That's kind of cool.
Nice little storage solution
There's a
there.
little handle on the top that you kind of grip it against your hip instead of carrying it like a suitcase. So that's neat. And
that was their idea of a portable computer back then.
Yep.
A little handle.
Well,
on it.
there's another example of a portable computer. This is another one of Bob's over here. You ever heard of these guys? You know what that is?
What am I looking at here?
So this is a computer. You probably never heard of this company before, but there's their logo right there.
An Apple One. Hey, and there's the original Apple logo. I've seen that logo before as their first logo, but I've never actually seen it in their manuals until this moment. Holy crap, that's amazing.
There's the manual. Here's the advertisement for it. You'd buy this for $666.66.
Of course.
No, it's just that Woz likes repeating numbers. See, here's his business card. It has a whole ton of 8s.
Wozniak's the
You would
man.
only get the motherboard with your purchase. So what brought us over here talking about portables? Dude named Rick buys this and says, hey, I'd like my computer to be portable. It looks like I might be able to fit that in a briefcase.
Okay.
And he accidentally builds himself the first MacBook with no help from
Inverse
Apple.
Phase. Real quick, we got a donation. Thank you, Phase Shift, for the $16. Greatly appreciated. I'll go ahead and update the
I'm gonna have to shift
the donation goal
for
there.
you because I'm
45.55, so
of
151. So that means, we are up to 151 now. Mike, do I have that number right?
Nice.
130. Yeah, 151. Thank you so much. We
Take a
appreciate
shot
it.
if you still got them. So there's a huge collection of apples. This is an Apple One that you can actually turn on and use. Over here, this is a replica.
Now, the early Apple stuff, like the Apple One, so they didn't actually put it in a case for you. They literally just they sold you the board, and here you go.
Yeah, here's another ad.
Gotcha. So they originally were trying to market Apple product as low cost, like that, because at that time, that would have been inexpensive.
Well, it's 1975. Keep in mind, you just looked at a computer from '69 that was $40,000. So,
Yeah.
you know, like, they're like, hey, you can get it for sub $1,000. It's a home computer. You know, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs almost got laughed out of the building for saying, hey, you might want a computer in your home. Actually, they probably did get laughed out of the building, but also conveniently, it was such a weird idea that, you know, like the boss was literally just trying to figure out how to end the meeting. You know, he was like, what are you going to do with this? There's no way that HP would take this seriously.
Right.
Boss was an engineer for HP.
What's up, Wasabi? Wasabi is impressed by the keyboard. Oh, real quick, Inverse Phase, just so everybody, in case there's some people coming in here. If you're just coming on in, we are raising money tonight for Inverse Phase's Bloop Museum. Inverse Phase has done a lot of amazing things in his career, all kinds of chiptune music, soundtracks, the music you're listening to, the intro to Zophar's Realm, all kinds of cool stuff. And he is the owner of the Bloop Museum, a 501c3 organization dedicated to the preservation of all kinds of cool electronics, gizmos, and gadgets. Bloop Museum needs your help trying to raise some money to get him into a new building, which he's looking at in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania right now. He's raised $163,300 this past year so far. Needs a total of $240,000 to get there. And we have raised $151 for him tonight so far. So please consider donating to the Bloop Museum if you can. If you cannot, even just spreading the word will absolutely help so much. This museum is so freaking cool. I can't believe I haven't gotten down there yet. I have to get down there next year. We'll have, after the holidays, Inverse Phase, you and I will talk. And I'll actually really like... Oh, I see is that a Sony Trinitron I'm looking at there?
Yes, it is.
Nice. I had one of these.
A lot of time on the most of the stuff that you've seen is Bob's, although probably a good half of those micros. I also have my own. They're just in the back in the warehouse because there's no sense in setting up two of the same thing.
What size? What size is that? 27?
Oh yeah, this is the actually.
Or is that 24?
Is it the 27? It might be. No, it's not a 24. It's either a 27 or a 32.
I had a 27 Sony Trinitron, and I stupidly had it taken away and recycled a number of years ago, and I wish I hadn't done that. My friend of misery, thank you so much for the follow and for joining the Realm of the Domain. Your support is greatly appreciated. Very cool. What do we got here?
So,
is that a laser disc I see back there?
Yeah, or you know, colloquially, you can just call it disc. Because it's not compact. So this is a laser disc with some top secret stuff on it. I don't know if I'm focusing on that very well.
This disc is classified as top secret. It must not be made available to any unauthorized persons, either inside or outside Sony Corporation.
So far.
So come to the museum and I'll authorize you.
It's a beeping laser.
All sorts of cool.
Cybertrucker Alpha, thanks for the 100 bits. Your support's appreciated. I would ask, definitely appreciate that 100 bits. We are trying to fundraise for Inverse Phase tonight. I wasn't able to change the charity because, for whatever reason, Twitch doesn't recognize Inverse Phase's charity, despite them being 501c3 and in the PayPal Giving Fund. Twitch, like always, is behind the times. So that's okay. We'll get them there. So if you can, anything you can donate to the Bloop Museum, help to preserve this amazing, amazing museum. Inverse Phase is trying to move to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Melpo, thank you for the $8. Your support is appreciated. That will absolutely give us a nice help with the Bloop Museum. I'll update that total number. Now we're up to 159. Sorry, Inverse Phase, back to you.
That's fine. So we were looking at some AV stuff. I wanted to show you stuff that is exclusively mine here in the museum before I have to throw the phone on the charger for another go through the museum. But here we are sitting in Japan. I have a bunch of Japanese game consoles. Here's one that's especially exotic. This is the Casio Loopy. This is literally a 16-bit system with a sticker printer in it.
Wow, when did that come out? I wasn't even aware of that system.
This is a development in 94, releases in 95.
Okay.
And this is pretty wild because I did a little bit of research, and it turns out you don't need to do much. This has the Super H1. You would see the SH2 in the Saturn, and the SH4 in the Dreamcast. This is the SH1.
Ah,
and there's no Sega system that has an SH1, but I guess they had seen the Loopy or some of the Loopy developers, maybe they absconded and started writing
Secure all
software for
positions.
Sega.
Here we go.
Turns out Casio had 2 other game systems. They're mostly
Full
sort
ahead.
of ColecoVision.
Next stop, Zophar's domain.
The
That is so
PD1000,
freaking
PD2000. They even have this cute little girl's PDA that has support for a modem so that you can send
Oh,
like
wow.
your diary to your friends or whatever.
Damn. Little
There's
Toys R
even
Us
an
logo.
acoustic coupler for it.
QRAM, thanks for the follow and for joining the realm of the domain. Your support is greatly appreciated. So I know Adam Seats is saying, hey, Inverse Phase, show him the fishing guide.
Ah, you mean this thing right here?
Aha!
This is
Handy
the
sonar.
Handy Sonar. It's a Wonder Swan that comes with a fish finder. There's also a Game Boy version right behind it.
Wow.
There's that. And speaking of Game Boys, anyone ever seen this boy right here?
Wait, let me see. Get closer on that.
Is that what you want to see?
What the? What? Digital sewing machine? Wait, explain this to me. Uh-oh. Inverse Phase, did we lose you? Oh no! I think we lost Inverse Phase. We lost Inverse Feed. Yeah, it looks like a Game Boy sewing machine. Melpo says, to be honest, the follow notifications are drowning out Inverse Phase. Yeah, I should turn them off, actually. Yeah, I popped them off. Good call, Melpo. The Sewing Boy. It plugs in and does patterns. The Jaguar Game Boy. I gotta tell, I don't know if Inverse Phase knows that he's your feed has been lost. Alright, I hope he sees it. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Your call cannot be completed
Feed
as dialed.
went bye-bye.
Please enter the number and dial again.
Do you want to take a break?
The weed.
Doodly doodly doo doodle doodle doo doodle doodle doo. Yeah, Inverse Phase's phone can only go as long as the battery holds out, so he might need a break to get a little recharge action here. I know Adam Seat says you can tell us the Game Boy sewing machine connects to a cart and you can do patterns on it. That's wild. And it's really like, it's really what it looks like. It's actually a Game Boy sewing machine. Like Nintendo made a sewing machine? Or are they just ripping off the name from Nintendo? Charging, time to lurk and answer questions. Ah, good call, good call. Pop your questions into Inverse Phase. He'll answer anything you have. The Game Boy slots into the base of the machine. Oh, okay. So, and that's how you would load in the patterns and stuff. Oh, wow, that's wild. That is wild. Huh. All right, well, let me, we probably, yeah, let me kill that real quick. Should probably put some sort of interesting Bloop Museum stuff in there, right? Doodly 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 doo. Doodly. I'm trying to think what I can put in this big empty square while Inverse Phase is charging up. The sewing machine is by the Jaguar. There's also a Singer that you can do it with. You don't have a Game Boy camera on display, but you do have one. That's awesome. We need more space. That's right. That's what the fundraiser is about. That's right. See? We need more space. So please, please, please consider donating to Inverse Phase. Inverse Phase, if it's okay, I think this is a good moment for me to go and take a little potty break. So I'm going to, if it's all right with you, I'll go to a BRB screen, and you can continue to answer questions while you charge up. And Kriega, thank you for the angel tears. I have some right here. Ah, good. And then when we come back, we will continue, and I will see you all shortly. So please don't change that channel, chat. Zophar's Realm and Bloop Museum's Fundraiser. We'll be right back.
Oh, hello. This is Mick Foley, World Wrestling Federation Champion. I just wanted to welcome all of you to Zophar's Realm. I hear he's got a lot of cool cats coming and going to play some retro game for you. Bang, bang! We love it. I love it. And I want to thank you and welcome you. Mr. Sacco wants to welcome you too. Have a nice day.
Yeah! Chris, this fight's tough. Let me tell you a good strategy. Yes, here's the strategy. Everybody ready? This is it. Watch. See the strategy? It's good. It's good strategy. Good strategy. Yeah, mash that button, yeah.
Can't do it.
Hell with the game. This is more fun. Who needs a game?
Is he gonna die? Oh no. Well, I'll take over. Hi guys. I got.
Good night, everybody.
He's gone. All right.
Good night, everybody.
Hey everybody, welcome to Channel Gaming. My name is Andrew. It's good to see you guys. You can call me Rig. We're gonna play some Shine the Holy Ark.
See, when I was a kid, and this is not a knock, by the way, on my mom. I love my mom. But my mom made 20,000 different forms of chicken. So after a while, like, I think this is why I like sushi, because I just started looking for anything that wasn't chicken. I'm like, but I love you, Mom. Your chicken was great, Mom. Your chicken was great.
The weeds! Oh, yeah, your chicken was fantastic, Zophar's mom.
Go, blimey, don't sneak up on me like that.
He said the thing. I'll end up doing something really friggin' stupid. Noodly, noodly, noodly. Oh, what the? Yo, everybody, did you all see that? You all saw that, right? Somebody clip that. Someone clip that moment. I want that moment clipped. You all saw that, right? Everybody here saw that, right? Validated? Told you I was gonna do it. I wasn't even trying to do it. Oh God. Oh, thank you, game. Oh my God, the game saved me. The game saved me. Oh, ah! I pressed up. I swear I pressed up. All right, here we go. Someday, perhaps you will allow me to hear yours, Alex Bird. God, you suck. Maverickism! No, I'm just kidding. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. And Rig of Retro Iron Gaming, Mr. Andrew R. Gaming, Andrew H. Andrew the man, the myth, the legend. If we don't be shining the Holy Ark soon, I'm gonna be sad.
Look at mine.
Wait, what happened?
Hold on, there's something wrong with it. Oh, the bottom.
Wait, no, you can't. Ah! Ay, me hearty, you concussed me again. Son of a... Well, if the run wasn't already dead, now it is. That's so funny. Do you see this? You all see this, right? The game's just... Not only is kicking me while I'm down, the game is literally kicking me while I'm down. F this game. Sir Boom, hope you're doing really well. Wait, no, actually, yes. Can't play the game if I'm dead.
Hey everyone, G Levy here. If you're interested in appearing in our next BRB video, send me a whisper on stream, or hit me up on Discord. Hope to see you soon.
Stop! Each of you will now listen to the Lord of the Realm and the Domain. Each of you have been stained by a sub-badge and marked by a follower icon. If I call your name in chat, you will answer, "Yes, Lord Zophar," or I will banish you to the black hole. My stream starts now, mortals.
You played so dangerous a course
to secure a dragon diamond?
I'm beginning to regret that course myself. Please don't chomp us to bits.
Why is it you humans prize those things so much? Don't you know they're made from what's the use?
Evil will always triumph.
I'm gonna set a fire trap.
Because good is dumb.
Oh no! Maybe he won't bother me.
Welcome to die. No, welcome to die.
Oh god! Oh shit! At least I have chicken. Sorry about that. Just had to grab something. What'd I miss?
And that's why I hate Zophar. Oh, hi, Zophar.
Ah, sure.
How about either or, Zophar? You beat this game without the code, and I'll play Seven Saga, or I.
Come on! I did it! I beat Contra without cheating! I never did it before! Yes, 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 yes! Little Daniel Bryan yes right there. Ooh, Liberty Bell drop.
Stop! Each one of you shall now participate in the Zophar's Realm prediction. You get it right, double your silver. But if you get it wrong, then you lose it all!
My weapon has a cleavage. Oh my god. The cleaver has a duration, not the cleavage. Jesus Christ. We are owed a angel tears though, so let me go grab some real quick and I will BRB.
Sure. Chat, what is he grabbing? I don't know what he's doing. I love this though. It's so random.
Oh god. F! Did you see that? I beat it. I said F, and then the F came out.
Nobody takes Zophar seriously.
Nobody takes me seriously, He-Man.
Oh my god!
What? Uh-oh, spell, ring, spell. Spell. The spell. A scroll of Ah!
Oh, damn.
It says the thing! They said the thing! The thing! It's the lost scroll of Jim! Oh my god. It's the lost scroll of Jim. Everybody, it's the freaking lost scroll of Jim. Jim! Dude! Alright, here we go.
Alright.
We're gonna looky look.
We're gonna find a boss and die.
Whoa, what? Really? Really? You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming, right?
I did not.
You used your stupid magic 8-ball shit, didn't you? Dude!
Stop! Which one of you has subbed to the realm for the longest amount of time? Who is the founder? Answer! I see. Well then. You're banished to the black hole!
Sing a line right now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rig, go.
What is going on? I can't hear the music. This is.
It's a cappella.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Don't give me the microphone ever.
We gotta be careful. We can't run out of this when that head drops. We can't get hit. Wow. I just totally crushed it. Literally.
Stop! Where is the mortal known as Soda Pagoda?
Yes, my gatekeeper.
I need a pole, mortal. Where is my pole?
Another pole?
If you don't give it to me, I will banish you to the black hole.
Fun. That's all he really wants. To have some fun. What are you doing, Jim? Do. Jim! You dickhead! Stop! What's he doing? It's a glitch! He's stuck in the wall! Do you see this? Yo, I broke the game! Oh my god, it was ridiculous. He was stuck in the wall. I couldn't hit him. I literally couldn't hit the vampire. Defeated. No more cap and sham. 97.50 and 26.75 gold. And we got... Yars! Zophar obtained a piratey hat! Zophar puts the piratey hats into the bag. And if you don't clip this moment, me hearties, there's something wrong with you, and you're gonna have to walk the plank.
Cool.
Oh, we're gonna look at Tech War again? Okay, let's go look at fucking Tech War! Gee, Levy, how'd you do that?
That's great. What were the chances? This is why I think Twitch is listening. I really think they're listening.
Whoa, he's licking his sword.
You think, ew, you've defeated me, but my master is more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Now I'm gonna get hepatitis C from this blade.
I'm gonna come for you and possibly kill you.
There's an amulet. What's this all about? Hold it up to the light here? Yes. Read the runes here? Yes. What happened? It's over. I'm never gonna get Twitch partner. I'm just gonna go back.
You've got mail.
Work in retail. And congratulations, you're invited to the Twitch partner program. Yes, yes, yes! I did it! I did it!
Stop! Who is the mortal in chat named G-Levy17?
Huh? Yes, my gatekeeper.
So it is you. Well, I banish you to the black hole because I want you.
Banished?
If it starts me back at the beginning, I'm leaving this room just so you all know. Oh, F this. Oh, F this. Oh, God, there I am. I mean, there he is. Oh, boy. Yeah, this ain't good. Or no, this is great. I'm so conflicted. This is horrible, but this is also great. No! I mean, yes! Push the rock. This should take out the ship. What you get for being a crappy crew. Bye!
Zophar!
I have had it. I'm sick and tired of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Hi, welcome to Zophar's domain. We're gonna save scum today. Huh, looks good.
Nope. Damn. That sucks.
What? Isn't that like his best friend? And his reaction is, damn, that sucks. That's horrible.
G. Levy here from the black hole, waiting for my gatekeeper to release me. Please be swift.
Yes! Yes! I beat Purple now! I did it! I did it! I did it!
So, like, I literally have to just do this then, right? Look, it's like real life. I'm banging my head against the freaking wall.
You can go. We can go back now.
Uh-oh, I think the sprite is stuck. I think it's 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 stuck.
All right,
Have you figured it out yet?
Was that you? Were you doing that?
I can't. I need sleep.
Yes! Yes! I did it! I did it! Ah!
I failed Margit. Oh.
Welcome to another episode of G. Levy's Domain. That's right, everyone. I'm taking over the stream, as Zophar is currently indisposed, but fear not, he will return momentarily.
Let's try that again unmuted. Thanks, Susumu. How you doing, by the way? While we're waiting for Inverse Phase to get his laptop rocking and rolling here, I thought we'd watch a little clip here from ABC2 on the official Bloop Museum Needs a Building site.
Now then, what brings you to my inner sanctum?
The Action Dan just subscribed for 30 months. Bloop. What's a bloop?
What's up, Bloop? Thank you so much, Action Dan, for 30 months at Tier 2. That is 2.5 years of subscribing to the realm of the domain. You immortal, your support is greatly appreciated. Continue to enjoy the ad-free viewing email. It's a super-duper secret sub on the Discord channel and the sub badges. And at 30 months, you just earned yourself the Chris Grim from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The Bloop Museum is an amazing museum that is run by Inverse Phase. It's a 501c3 organization. They have all kinds of cool electronics, gizmos, and gadgets, and computers, and video games, and stuff from all eras going all the way back many, many decades. And Inverse Phase needs your help. He's also the composer of the Zophar's Realm intro theme, as well as stuff from my YouTube channel, and all kinds of other amazing chiptune music over the decades. If you can donate, it would be a huge help. Just click that link, givebutter.com/bloopholiday. Inverse Phase has raised $163,324 so far. We've raised $159 tonight so far. We've given away two things. The Guilty Gear album went to Syra Zeal, and the Retro Covered album, these are physical chiptune albums that Inverse Phase has composed. That one went to Taco Loco. The next person to get us to $256 will get a physical copy of the Chip Lust album. $384 will get us Pretty 8 Machine. $512 $1,000 will get us an outro song that Inverse Phase will compose for us, chiptune of course. And if we get to the final stretch goal of $1,024, Inverse Phase will compose us not just an outro, but he will redo our intro song that he composed for us almost 3 years ago, back in early 2022. So let's go watch this real quick.
There's no denying we live in a vastly different world than we did just a few short years ago. Work once done on a big machine as big as a room is now done in the palm of your hand. While these tech changes can be scary, WMAR2 News photojournalist Christy Harper found a place that aims to give people an understanding of our technology in a technology-based world.
In a sea of warehouses and nondescript buildings in Cockeysville sits a unique collection.
Our passion is that we want to teach you about this stuff.
Stuff that is a mystery to many of us.
We do get people that are, scared of technologies, or they're like, oh my God, my phone is listening to me. You kind of ping them over the network with questions to really complicated questions.
But listen to these guys. They know their stuff.
My hope is that maybe by understanding their technology, they'll be a little bit less frightened of it.
It's the System Source Computer Museum, a huge technology collection where you can learn everything about how a computer works.
Now this is the good stuff.
Alpha, Syed, and their mom came here to find out about a pretty specific technology question.
We were learning the difference between old TV screens and the newer ones that are on phones like LCD.
What's up, Future Proof
Rub your
Visuals?
hand
How we doing?
across the screen.
Cupa. I tried to. I don't know if it works.
Basically, a place for people to go down
see.
those rabbit holes is important.
Does it look full screen to you right now?
You can hop around all kinds of tech here.
The technology that we want to highlight starts in the 1800s and honestly goes all the way to present time.
A visit gives you the story behind every technological advancement you can think of and deep knowledge of how it works.
Does some calculations with some gears.
It's where the physical world meets the information
it's not
world.
going to work full screen.
The first supercomputer? Check.
There's no CPU. The computer is the CPU.
The first Apple computer?
Would come in a pizza box.
Check.
Does it have a dial tone? Yeah.
They even have the first video phones.
I'm calling mommy.
You have to wait because these things are really slow.
As if everything we've seen so far doesn't boggle the mind. There's even more. On this side of the room is the National Electronics Museum. They used to be housed down near BWI. The two museums have combined locations here, but there's even more. A third museum is dedicated to everything that goes bleep and bloop.
Here it is. Here it
I'm
comes.
kind of the smallest museum of the three.
The Bloop Museum is all things electronic entertainment.
There it is.
A music composer for video games by trade, Brendan as tour guide takes you through the development of the purely fun side of electronic technology.
I probably have about 30,000 square feet worth of computer and game and electronic entertainment stuff.
All the cool stuff. My favorite was especially my brother did a project on Jerry Lawson, so they had his original Fairchild Channel F video game system.
For those of you not in the know, Jerry Lawson is considered the father of the video game cartridge, one of the biggest innovations in gaming. But back to the other computers.
Okay.
Most of these machines are kept in working order, a valuable resource that means obsolete technologies can still help the community.
We recovered a floppy disk for Wicomico County, and they ended up using the data that we recovered to exonerate two men.
That's a hard drive?
In 1962.
This is a living museum, a place to avoid data loss.
That's one of the reasons that the museum exists, is because I want to make sure that we teach people about the technology so that they know what it's good for and what it's useful for.
And to show us we are in control of where we go from here. In Cockeysville, Christy Harper, WMAR 2 News.
Yeah, they're all within the same building, and there's three of them. Bloop is one of the three. So, yeah. So there you go. There you go. And a bloop is an onomatopoeia. You're right. You'll bookmark the fundraiser. They can't donate now. Hey, no problem, Culinary Disaster. Any amount helps, and even if you can't donate right now, just spreading the word, letting people know about it, signal boosting on X or Discord or Blue Sky, Reddit, Facebook, etc. All of it helps. Bloop is at risk because it's a 501c3 organization, so it's a charity, and Inverse Phase needs to get into a new building. He already has located one in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and needs to get into that building sooner rather than later in order for the Bloop Museum to continue having a home. Same here, Culinary Disaster. Inverse Face has invited me over the last few years, and I haven't been able to find the time to go, but now I really want to go. And I would hate to see this museum cease to exist at some point if we can't, help to get it into its new home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is the building Inverse Face has identified. He's raised $163,324 this year so far. Needs $240,000 total in order to make the move happen based on his expenditures. We have raised $159 tonight so far. We have our different goals. We've reached 2 of our goals so far, 64 and 128. So Cyrus Zeal and Taco Loco will be the proud owners of some Inverse Face composed chiptune music albums, physical albums of Guilty Gear and Retro covered. $256 will be Chip Lust. $384 is Pretty 8 Machine, which is Nine Inch Nails' cover album of Pretty Hate Machine, but chiptune-y. And then if we get to $512 tonight before the stream ends in a little over an hour, he will compose us an outro song for our stream. And if we should get to $1,024, he will not just compose an outro, but a brand new remixed intro of the original theme of Zophar's Realm that he composed for us almost 3 years ago. Future Proof Visual says 3,000 square feet of stuff is no joke. I know, it's a ton of stuff. And he's a one-man show, man. Like, literally, this is all him. Isn't that wild? You'll share with your former company's Discord. You bet your parents would love us. Awesome, Connor. We really appreciate that. Yeah, Black Magic. That is what Inverse Face has indicated would happen. I mean, Inverse Face. I don't know if you're still away getting your laptop, but that's a good question. Are they planning to move with you, or are you moving on your own? Black Magic says Chip Lust and Pretty 8 Machine are phenomenal albums. They are. Oh, good. Inverse Face can chat. For that question, are you moving out from under System Source, or are they coming with you? If this all goes as you planned. Let me pop the music back on while we're going here too. Doodle-a-doo, doodle-a-doo, doodle-a-doo-doo. I know what we can show in the meantime. Doodle-lee, doodle-lee-doo. There we go. How about that? How about that? And we'll just kind of go like that. Boom. So that is what the $240,000 will go towards. It's a lot of expenses that are associated with running an awesome museum like this. The System Source guys, your host museum, have their own plans. Gotcha. Okay. RPG Capper wants to know if you've seen the ENIAC. Doodly. And by the way, this is the link to the Bloop Museum site where you can donate. Just click the little green donate button in the upper right corner of the screen, and your donation will appear down here. Every single dollar helps. Even an 8-bit donation of $8 is super helpful. It all counts. It all helps. And it all will go towards the expenditures you see right here on your left. You have a virtual ENIAC running in an Oculus Quest 3S. That's freaking awesome, Broswell. Now that right there is that is emulation right there. Inverse Face says ADA compliance is accessibility for the disabled. Legally required to have donations that people in wheelchairs can use, ramps, etc. Indeed, yep. And that's $30,000 to bring it into compliance. Wow. It's a pretty penny. Doodly-doo, but definitely important. A few of us went to see a few panels of ENIAC at the University of Pennsylvania. Wow. Yeah, the ENIAC was what, like the size of a gymnasium, I think they said? Right? Isn't that in terms of how much space it took up? Mother and Tyrus, how you doing, Mother and Tyrus? Got a lurk, happy to be here. No problem. Enjoy the lurky lurk, and thanks for the GL and having fun. I mean, I live in the Philly burbs, so it's not that bad of a travel for me compared to many. Accessibility is incredibly important. Inverse Phase says donations is facilities. So that's the, which part? Where does it say that? Doodle doodle doo, doodle doodle doo, doodle doodle doo. Where are you seeing donations? Oh, you mean where it says renovations? So renovations should say facilities, okay. The bathrooms have to be renovated in the spot you're looking at. Oh, donations that people in wheelchairs can use, but you meant facilities people can use. Right, I got you. The ENIAC supposedly took up an entire warehouse. Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. So yeah, every dollar helps. Bathrooms are a costly one. Need to have a wheelchair stall with a support bar. Yep. Indeed you do. Holy crap, the Action Dan. That is so kind of you. Thank you for the $128 donation. My God, man, that's going to help so much. Thank you, Action Dan. And I believe you have just earned yourself, I think you've earned yourself a little album, a little chip lust action there. Let's go do a little calculation. I don't know how to count. Math is hard. Math is so hard, everybody. That is so kind of you, Action Dan. Thank you so much. All right, let's see here. Where are you? Total donations. 159 plus 128. 259, 359, 259, 69, 79, 89. That's 287, yes? 287. We have raised $287 tonight. Chip Lust album is Action Dan's. Action Dan, if you just want to message Inverse Phase on my Discord channel, he's in there. Give him your information, and he will ship you. By the way, that music right there, that is what we used in the Retro Rewind credits roll. I love that. I love that song. You did a really good job with the whole album, Inverse Phase. But yes, Action Dan has indeed won the Chip Lust album. Action Dan Chip Lust. And Taco Loco has won the Retro Covered album. Retro Covered. All right, got it. Thank you again, Action Dan. So kind of you. So generous. Future Proof Visuals says, can you send me bits and have you done on my behalf? So, Future Proof Visuals, I wouldn't do it that way because Twitch takes a cut. Oh my God, I don't even know who you are, but Anonymous, thank you for the $100. Uh-oh. What do we do with this? Inverse Phase, the Anonymous gifter, so kind of you, whoever you are. Just put us above the Pretty 8 Machine album goal, but we don't know who it is. Yeah, of course, I'm definitely going to add it. How do you want to handle that? These are your giveaways, so you tell me how you want to do it. We're up to $387. Oh my God, I love this bridge right here. This is like the best bridge I've ever heard in any chiptune song, by the way. $387. 100, that's not a power of 2. It's anonymous, so it's fair. Okay, so the next donation will get the Pretty 8 Machine album. So the next donation we gets Pretty 8 Machine. Pretty 8 Machine, by the way, is, if you're not familiar with 9 Inch Nails, they created an album many, many years ago, their very first one that they commercially released, known as Pretty Hate Machine. So if you ever heard the song like Head Like a Hole, head like a hole, black as your soul, I'd rather die than give you control, bow down. That's 9 Inch Nails. So Inverse Phase did an entire chiptune cover of that album. Got permission from the powers that be in Trent Reznor land to do that too. It's awesome stuff. You want to respect the privacy of anonymous donors. Oh no, totally understood. So yeah, the next donation we get will win Pretty 8 Machine album, which is a physical album. I'm just jotting this down. Let's over to 384. Doodly doodle doodly doodle doodly. Inverse Phase, are you in a position yet to show more of the museum, or are you still figuring it out, charging up, all that good stuff? Inverse Phase, I'm sure, could expand on that, on how that all worked out, if he so chooses to do so. But $387. So the next donation, Pretty 8 Machine. If we get to $512 tonight, Inverse Phase will compose an outro song for Zophar's Realms Twitch stream. And if we get to the 1,024 stretch goal, Inverse Phase will also remix and recompose the intro theme to Zophar's Realm that he composed way back in early 2022. We've come Zophar. You're about ready to go on camera. Nice. But for Dan, Culinary Disaster says, for one of the guys you work with around Weird Stuff Warehouse in California, this will be right up his alley. It's such a cool museum. You did a hell of a job on this, Inverse Phase. Okay, so laptop's open, gives you stream time, trying to test. Mic works, testing sound now. All right, let's get the show on the road. Doodly, doodly, doodly. Oh shit. The curse of this thing is happening. I wish there was a way to like make it not do that. I wonder if I stop my camera if it would stop that. Hold on one second, verse phase. There's a glitch. It's a Mac thing. I don't know why it does it. Let me think for a minute here. How do I... Let's see, if I go like that, what is it doing? Yeah, it still does it. So stupid. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to fix this crap. And then when I exit out of OBS later, it's going to unfix it. And I'm going to have to redo it again. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. All right, let me go fix it, and then we'll do our thing. Oh, I fixed it. Hey. All right, inverse phase, you back? I'm gonna turn my camera off.
So I can't hear you out of my laptop, but I can hear you out of my desktop, and I can hear my stupid background noise out of my mic.
Oh, how random. Hey, Future Proof Visuals, thank you for the $16. Future Proof Visuals has won the Pretty 8 Machine album. So I'm going to pop that in here as Future Proof Visuals. So Future Proof Visuals. Go ahead when you get time and send a message to Inverse Phase in our Discord. Get him your information. He will send you that album, that physical album of Pretty 8 Machine. And that puts us, let's see, $16 added to $387 puts us at $401. All right, $401. $401. Just a little over 100, what is it, 111 more dollars will get us an outro song in Zophar's Realm. We're getting close, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting Bloop Museum and Inverse Phase. It's greatly appreciated. Crow to Fang says, you've been gone to Zophar's site since 2000. Let's say you're a loyal fan. I appreciate that, Crow to Fang, but could not have done it with all the amazing people that made Zophar's made what it was over the years, including but not limited to Eva, Homer, Infi, Alman, Stickfigure, Nitro, Lycia, Zip, No Maniac, BNU, BD, Lirajai, Taicha, Daikon, CD, Azofria, Martini, Monty, 2K, Deliver, Edman, and Lev. So thank you, but thank them, for they are the true heroes. Black Magic says, Canadian donation, U.S. charity, Canadian U.S. company. Ah, yeah, exactly, Dan. Pretty 8 Machine. Eating the machines. Black Magic says you got to look into your company donation matching thing. Oh, okay, because of the tax situation. That makes sense. Cool. All right, so Inverse Phase. Are you ready? Or are you just going to stick with audio for now?
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do here about not being able to hear you. Are you able to type questions into Discord?
All right,
the answer is sure.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so. All right. Let's see what we can do about this. Actually, you know what? I wonder if this is something. Oh my God. Try and say something.
Hold on one sec. Send that again.
It's not just my
Twitch. So you.
It's not just my headset.
Links before, but now you can.
What?
The link.
Oops.
You were.
All right.
There
I'm supposed to send that message again.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna run back out into museum area.
Sounds good. All right. Let me see here. Yep. Okay. All right. Just let me know when you're ready. Let me know when you're...
Hopefully that message sent.
Ready. Oh, that is so awesome. Here, hold on. Let me show. I gotta pop this in here. Hold on. This is
fun begins again.
So yeah, to answer the question about inverse phase getting
All right.
permission,
Hopefully camera is working okay.
that right there is inverse phase and Trent Reznor, and he definitely got permission. So there you go. That is so cool. So oh, you can't hear me, can you? I gotta type it, don't I? Oh, there we go. All right, hold on. So let me boink boink, and we'll do yoink, and boom. We see ya.
You're officially to where we left off. Behind me here, a bunch of MSX stuff, including, wait a second, is it over here or is it over here? Anyone able to translate this?
Anybody know?
I can make it easier.
Black
So down
Magic,
here-
I'm relaying your info because inverse phase can't
Are they
hear us
audio
right now.
90s? I have no idea if they're that's the model number. Great question. No idea.
What's up,
So
Suntop
let's see
Kinseeker?
what we can do about putting the laptop in a nice spot where you can get a gander. Over here, I actually have, this is a Dutch MSX. This is the NMS 8245. And we've got Japanese games in it, if you notice. This is kind of peculiar, perhaps. But it turns out, if you turn it on, it starts up.
Huh.
And who knows if you're going to get this audio or if you're going to hear it very well. Obviously, this is not highlight. But you might be able to notice that it came up in English, not in Japanese, because they did regioning right on the MSX. It looks for the kanji ROM. And, it doesn't find it because it's a European MSX, so the game comes up in English.
Holy
So that's
crap.
kind of an interesting one. So here we have, actually, do we have original, hold on. Let's see, I have a drawer full of cartridges down here, but I don't seem to see Hide 1, and I thought we had it.
Oh no! How can
That
we
is
not have
odd,
Hide
but Hide 2 is certainly not a bad choice.
Oh, there are bad choices. There are bad highlights choices. Believe me. I'm just trying to relay anything to inverse phase from here. Clearly someone locked down the powder room.
Yeah, I suppose there are bad highlight choices, but how's the audio coming across?
Black Magic's question, let me relay this to inverse phase for you. Wants to know, are those Plantronics Audio 90 headphones?
So I don't know that we have really time to go through and start an entire save of Hide. Oh God, I don't know my keys. Okay, I figured out the pause key. Shift. What is the key to swing a sword or do something? N is my pause. Oh, so I'm seeing Zophar mentioning what kind of computer is that? I don't know if this made it across, I guess. This is a Philips NMS 8245, an MSX2. And it's Dutch, actually, but we're playing Japanese games on it, so it actually runs at 16% slower than the Japanese speed, unless we force it into NTSC, which you can do. Japanese games will often try to start up in in English. If you put it in and it doesn't find a kanji ROM, then it just either doesn't display kanji, or sometimes you have some kana and kanji on the cartridge. So that's kind of interesting.
Nice. Uh-oh. I think you lost signal. We lose signal. And
Another
speed
interesting
turn on.
thing is that you have big giant cartridges like
There
this
we go.
one. And certainly someone here knows what this cartridge is, but you might notice that with no cartridge in it, you can't see. Maybe I can tilt down a little bit. There is no cartridge in the machine now.
Huh.
But I have a game
Aha!
in the floppy disk drive over here.
It lives! What am I looking at here? I see clouds. Happy little clouds.
Didn't boot off of the floppy. Let's try again. There we go. That sounds better.
Now I got
See if we can get some
inverse.
floppy disk noises for you.
I got inverse phase music stuck in my head forever now.
Anyone ever play Aleste?
Whoa!
Master System kids in the U.S. would know this as a different game, an exclusive game. Power Strike.
Power Strike. RPG Capper says you've only seen Aleste.
So here's kind of an interesting thing. That's without this cartridge in there. So if I put this cartridge in there, it's a big cartridge. Should be some kind of cool, big, fancy game, right?
Should be.
And we put it in. I'm going to put this back away so that I'm good at putting my stuff away. And it just starts up the game off of the disc again. So why is it ignoring my cartridge? And
Why
it turns out
indeed?
the
From
reason
the good
is
folks that compile.
we just upgraded the sound in this machine
Nice.
with a cartridge.
Impressive. So let's see. We gotta see him play it.
So this is Aleste Gaiden. We do get one of these fancy joystick things.
Okay, there we go. It's getting fancy. Getting
You can
fancy.
use it.
I feel like somebody wrote a song about that. About being
One hit
fancy.
kills.
Huh.
Also, we're going to need to jump. Oops. Well, we're not going to need to jump if we die.
Dying's overrated. Well, it's actually underrated. Slightly.
Clearly, I'm bad at this.
Ugh, I'm bad at this. Don't worry, I'm coming to save the lot of you. Remember the Simpsons episode? Oh, man. Ugh, I'm bad at this.
Anyway.
But don't be reading my mind between the hours of 5 and 6. That's Willie's time.
So there we go. That's an old MSX2.
Don't mind if I do.
We also had a request for some NEC PC action.
I'm a computer. Stop all the
That would take us
downloading.
over here
Best
to this
sound
corner.
effect.
So, On my right, we have the PC9801 VM. On our left, we have a BX3. The BX3 is also known as the Fellow.
All right.
The PC98 is NEC's entry into the PC compatible market. The interesting thing about these is that early NEC PC98s are not running DOS or Windows. They're just kind of doing their own thing. They have higher resolutions because they need to support kanji display. But the machine on the left in this image is that just has DOS 6.22 and Windows 3.1 on it. This one over here is a 486. This one is roughly a 286. There are some games, even though you only have 286s. Here's something you could play on an older PC98. You might have heard of this.
Civilization. I think Tweety was just playing
And
Civilization or something.
there's actually something kind of interesting about Civilization for anyone that's a fan. And for that, I'm trying to balance my laptop here on my legs so that I can pull open the manual and show you something kind of interesting here. If we look in the manual here, you can see the address to Microprose.
Ah.
And Microprose's old address is 180 Lakefront. I can walk to this address from the museum.
Wow.
These guys are right around the corner. They're not in there anymore. The suite is vacant, but I can just walk down the street past the little microbrewery that we've got, past the train tracks, and right on the other side is the old Microprose studios. The question was, does Microprose still exist? The answer is they don't. They got purchased by Infogrames and became a part of 2K Games and I'm mixing everything up. They got purchased by Infogrames, and Infogrames also purchased Atari and changed their name to Atari. But Sid Meier, the person who wrote Civilization, since it seems to be called Sid Meier's Civilization, right? Got his rights back to Civilization and released it under Firaxis, and Firaxis happens to be 7 minutes up the road. So these guys are still around, but they're not around as Microprose.
Gotcha.
Yeah, don't throw a brick through their window, please. That would, if you want, you can probably directly complain to Sid about how hard the games are, and I'm sure he would be happy to talk to you about how to have better strats.
No throwing bricks.
By the way, speaking of PCs, it turns out the Prius isn't a car. It's just a Pentium 3.
Ah.
So those are my PC 98s. I would love to, as I mentioned in chat, put my PC 88s out, but I don't have room in this Japan cube. Look at this, everybody. This is the space we have for the Japan cube.
It's a wee little
Just think what we could do if we had more space.
Indeed, indeed. This is probably a good segue
But
to remind
actually,
you
that
all.
brings me to something interesting. Here's a little glass case with a few things that
We're
are
so
just
close to the
outside of
next goal.
Japan.
Just 111.
And if you look down here, has anyone ever heard of this guy? This is sort of an interesting system. This is the Dendy. Someone snuck across the border during the Cold War and snuck a Nintendo to a company in Russia. And the Dendy is the Russian Nintendo.
Huh.
This was absolutely unofficial, but the Super Dendy later on, Nintendo found out that they were working on one right around the time that the wall was coming down. And the Super Dendy kind of got the green light because Nintendo didn't have time to launch a Super Nintendo in Russia. But there's a Dendy, there's a Dendy Junior, there are a couple variants.
Wow.
And this is sort of interesting because it runs on the Russian TV standard, so you have some interesting compatibility issues with games. You might live in a territory that doesn't allow video games, actually. So you might need to get one of these instead.
Now, what are
This is the Subor, which is literally an educational learning computer that just kind of happens. Sorry, I've got my laptop propped up on my hand here. There we go. Happens to have a slot for you to put the educational games in, but if you're really nice to the man behind the counter, they might give you one of these instead.
Huh.
You can play some Mario and Duck Hunt. Controllers just plug right into the side there. And you might notice that those are the 15-pin connectors. There's another one on the other side. And they kind of match up with this interesting 15-pin connector on this system here. Ah, it's the Famicom expansion connector. Interesting.
Ah.
Speaking of which, there's the Famicom disk system. There's a Famicom disk. There's an interesting thing that happens with this. Notice, maybe you can see it. Nintendo is written at the bottom here, and some of these are indented. The I and the N actually go further down in the disk. And they actually use this for copy protection. The disk drive checks for the indents. And it's not an authentic disk if the little plunger or whatever can't go down and shine. So here's something kind of interesting. It's a pirate Famicom disk.
Oh, that's great.
If you look in the back here, you can see that someone put indents in the disk, and they just didn't write the word Nintendo because that would bring shame upon their family if they were copying their name. So this is their workaround for physical copy protection on a Famicom disk.
Interesting. So they just put the indent.
So that's kind of interesting.
Huh.
Up here we have some of the boxes from some of these systems.
Little
You might notice
Famicom
my
action.
Famicom has a keyboard. That's because you can literally just go out and buy Family Basic and program in BASIC on your Famicom. Also, the Famicom disk system. Oh, and there's the tape recorder where you could literally just load programs. I can eject the tape in here. This is a tape that would come with a publication. So you could just get games on tape. Here is a 30-page manga, which serves as the manual for the Famicom disk system. They also tell you how disks work, how magnetism works, what the system looks like inside for all of those curious, like 13-year-olds that take things apart. That would be me.
Anonymous, thank you for the $12. We appreciate
And this
your
is
donation.
literally written so that, preteens can learn how technology works. It's honestly great. I wish we had more of this in the U.S.
We're up to $413.
Thanks, Anonymous, for the $12.
$413 so far. We are now under $100 to go to get to
How about
the
some
magic
competition?
512.
Who was it that shouted out just a minute ago?
Before Anonymous?
We had... I'm scrolling up. Oh, it was Dan. Dan was shouting out the Master System. So here's something interesting. This is the Mark III, which is literally the Japanese name for the Master System. They also have a keyboard. And down here, you can actually see, kind of buried in the back there, is the basic cartridge for this one. And the keyboard for the Master System. You can plug that into the front. You might or might not know that the Master System had an FM expansion unit, so you could literally get FM sound in a whole bunch of Master System games, not just Genesis games, by plugging it into where that ribbon cable goes, and just sit it right on top. Kind of a cool system, much cooler in Japan than it was here, but it's interesting that it would be pretty popular in Japan, but not very popular in the US, and more popular in Europe than here. I was a Master System kid. I'm letting my weird flag fly. But here's something even weirder. For this, I have to come all the way over here and sit on the floor. Here is Sega Master System, the computer. This is an SC3000, Sega Computer 3000. SG1000 is Sega Game 1000. And this is just a Sega Master System computer, and you put the basic cartridge in it and program it. It's literally the stuff that I just showed you, but it's all bolted together in a single case. And there's a cassette port on the back, and a printer port, and it's just a computer like a Commodore 64 or whatever. So that's pretty wild. Over here, the Sega Genesis. Mega Drive. What it's called everywhere else in the world. By the way, when the camera cut off the first time, we got cut off looking at the sewing machine, so here's another gander at that.
Yeah, that's right, with the Game Boy. I'm going to put in here, walk us through how that works.
And I mentioned to someone down here, there's the PC Engine mouse, walk you through how the sewing machine works. So I don't have a Game Boy hooked up, but I can move the manual just so that you can get a better look at it. And they do have this guy right here, some instructions here on what you need to do. You can literally flip these things open. See if I can manage to do this. I'm supposed to be able to just pop it open, or maybe this. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Much better. So there's your little holster. And coming out of, where is my link cable port? I might not want to move this right now because it's kind of precariously on there. But you plug a link cable straight into the sewing machine. You start up the sewing machine software. Draw a picture like a pixel art embroidery picture or whatever of Mario. And then you can upload it to the sewing machine, and the sewing machine will print out your zigzag patterns and that sort of thing. There are actually 3 different models of this. This is the crappiest one, unfortunately. The EN 2000 or the Singer EZEC 1500 are better. The Singer one is the best. There are 4, I think, I might be getting that wrong, different software packages for it. And the EZEC is the one that runs all of them. The JN100, I think, only runs 1 or 2. So this is actually, but the price couldn't be beat. I got this at amazing auction prices. I paid $30 plus like $100 shipping to get this across the pond. So this was at least something cool to set up and show, and it has those nice little iMac colors there. So maybe I'll put it next to one of the pink iMacs, just as kind of a translucent 90s thing. That's pretty cool. So we got a culinary disaster asking if it uses vector art. You mean the sewing machine? I don't know that you can actually send it vectors. There are some, and it depends on the software package too. But consider for a moment that the sewing machine can't move things around very easily. So you might still be limited to sort of an XY coordinate system. But it's pretty wild.
That is awesome.
Why don't I take you over to another part of the museum? We're going to go from Japan to England in not hours, but just mere seconds. And take a look at this guy right here.
Now, what's that?
I do have a Vectrex on display. RPG, we'll go over there in just a second. I wanted to make a quick stop at the Acorns. These guys are a super important company that I really make sure that every tour I give of the museum includes a little bit of this. The BBC Micro, which is the one that you're looking at front and center, is basically England's Apple II. It actually has the same 6502 CPU. It does have a video and a sound chip, unlike the Apple II, which just does magic to get it to beep and boop. but the BBC Micro was mandated in schools because the BBC actually paid to put it there. So they settled on that system. And because they settled on that system, they were able to write an entire school curriculum for computer classes, which is kind of cool. I wish we would have done that here. Even if it would have required us to use like one specific computer in school, more kids would have learned to use a computer, right? But
true that.
Someone that didn't win the bid was someone we were talking about earlier, Sinclair, who did the ZX Spectrum. And he undercuts these guys and lowers the price of his machine to $100, and this one is $500. And they had to design a new machine, which is down here. This boy right here, the Electron, is their $200 machine. And they made friends with a company, VLSI, that crammed a bunch of their chips into one chip, and they were able to get the price down to $200. And the machine didn't sell. 2 reasons. 16-bit computers had just come out, and right before that, they had missed the Christmas date. So between those 2 things, there was no real reason to, for anyone to buy this. They just wanted to buy like an Amiga or an Atari ST or something, instead of buying an 8-bit Electron for $200. This was just a toy. So the guys are sitting around trying to figure out what to do and how they're going to save their company. And one of them, well, 2 of them, decide that they're going to work on a 32-bit version of their computer that's a little bit more elegant. And they send off for a CPU. And there's all sorts of wild stories about this CPU, but I'm going to skip over those in the interest of time. This is a 32-bit computer with a CPU called an Acorn RISC machine. And if anyone is good at acronyms, you're going to be able to put together that Acorn RISC machine is ARM. And certainly someone has heard of an ARM CPU. You're probably even wearing or using one right now. All Android phones, all iPhones, all Roombas, all Fitbits, iPods, Game Boy Advance. Going back in time, here's the Newton, the Panasonic 3DO. All of these have ARMs. In fact, the Panasonic 3DO here, apart from the fact that it was $700, could have been the PlayStation competitor. It turns out this computer here came out a year before the 3DO, and we can even turn this on so that you can watch an 8 megahertz ARM boot, only 1 core. And while that's booting, I'm going to read the question on my screen. I saw, and the ZX Spectrum 2, yeah. So Tim Fallon did do, whoops, that's just scrolled off. Tim Fallon did do music tracks on the ZX Spectrum. There are a whole bunch of them. You should look up LED Storm. That's kind of one of my favorites, but there are a whole bunch. I can link them later. The Apple II for CUPA. The Apple II was fairly universal, but we weren't required to use them. It's just that the educational program was so good with Apple. The prices were so good that schools just chose them. But just as a case in point, when I was in 2nd grade, I had just moved to Bumblesville, Idaho, and the school used PC Juniors. So I know that they weren't everywhere. And if you go a little bit further back in time, the Apple II comes out in 1977, but around that time, schools are using maybe TRS-80s. In 1979, the Atari computers come out, Atari 400, 800s. I've talked to a bunch of people that have gotten tours here, and they said, yeah, we use an Atari 400 computer class.
Inverse face
so
can't
those
hear
are,
us right now.
Those are also
Thank
a
you
thing.
for the $8, DeJerm. We appreciate you.
So, pretty crazy. Future Proof asks if I can talk a little bit about how Bloop came to be. We did mention it earlier in the stream, but the really, really short version is that I ran MagFest back in the day, and I kind of broke off. At MagFest, it's a giant video game party with a rock concert, right? And everyone's just kind of hanging out, listening to video game music and listening to cover bands and, playing video games. And most gamers would go to the game room to play Smash or Halo or Street Fighter or whatever. And I noticed kind of the divergence of retro happening. There were only a select group of people that wanted to play like Atari or Intellivision or, like, what is this CDI thing? So I decided to break that stuff off and put it in kind of a side room and give people the opportunity to just, go in there and be in kind of a quieter environment and talk shop with older people. The music ended. What are we going to hear next? You could play some of the singles if you wanted to, like if you want to play 64 Squares and Unit F. Some of that should be in there. Corrupted Data. Maybe some of those things. So anyway, for a while, this museum was just at MagFest. Once a year for 4 days, you could go into this room. And then I did it as a pop-up at conventions and that sort of a thing. And I don't know if he's still in the chat, but B. Roswell is Bob Roswell. I met him in 2018, and he showed me this pretty fantastic building that I've been walking around in and said, hey, maybe you could set up some of your exhibits in here. And so I decided that I would take him up on it, and for the past 6 years, I've been here. But we both have so much stuff, it would be absurd for me to ask Bob to move out of his building, so I found a building in Pittsburgh that I want to move myself into and kind of build out the dream. I have probably 30 or 40 pallets worth of stuff that could all be taken out of tubs and set up in the museum, and I could build basically minus, some of the more major or more costly things here in the museum. A lot of these, you see an island full of IBMs over here, and then, behind that you see all of these Apples. Obviously I don't have this crazy shoot down planes computer, but there's a whole lot of stuff over here that I could duplicate. There's some Commodores over here in the corner I could also duplicate, and some stuff like the Acorn exhibit, which I have to walk back over here for. This stuff is my exhibit entirely. So a lot of this stuff could be recreated in a new location, and I want to do stuff that focuses more on games, game music, demo scene, old online services, stuff like that. So the question came through, how far is Pittsburgh from where we're based? We are just north of Baltimore where we're at right now. And Pittsburgh is about 4 or 5 hours from here, depending on which way you take it. If you don't want to pay tolls, you have to spend an hour longer on the road. But it's not too far from where we're at now. And I think Pittsburgh is maybe closer to some people. There's a little bit more computer history in that area. Why don't I show you what you can do with a crappy 8 megahertz ARM? This is another thing that I want to do an exhibit for. There's this thing called the demo scene. If you ever downloaded a pirated game or a, like a keygen back in the day, you'd usually have like chiptunes and dancing logos and scroll text and call my BBS so you can get more pirated games, stuff like that. This scene kind of evolved into a computer music video art scene where they're doing all of these effects in real time. These aren't videos. They're running the math on the CPU. This computer doesn't have 3D graphics. They're doing matrix transforms in software to software render the 3D in real time. And this is a scene that encompasses all of these computers, and not just, like the one that you're looking at now. That's another thing that I want to build an exhibit for. But, I need the space. There's a QR code right on your screen. Protofang, yes, I did say Baltimore. Just come north of Baltimore, you go north, you hit Towson, you go north, you hit Hunt Valley. We're right there. Let me see if there were any other questions. Answered how we came to be, answered how far Pittsburgh is. Zophar says he wants to talk. Let me kill this, and I'm going to go into the other room while he does.
Before I talk, let me get music going here. There we go. Okay, good. So, first of all, we have just about 20 minutes left in tonight's fundraiser. We're up to $421 right now. Inverse Phase needs your help. Bloop Museum needs a new home for it to continue to exist. As you've seen tonight over these last almost 3 hours, there's all kinds of amazing stuff in there, all kinds of computers and electronics gadgets and gaming systems and controllers, just crazy stuff from decades and decades past. And you haven't even we haven't scratched the surface yet. But for the museum to continue to exist, he needs your help. He's done so many amazing things for the community over the years. He ran MagFest. He's composed soundtracks for video games. He's the soundtrack to Zophar's Realm. I commissioned him 3 years ago to create the intro music. He's just done amazing things over the years. I knew him back in the 90s during IRC days. And he is a one-man show. Bloop Museum is Inverse Phase. The entire staff of Bloop Museum is Inverse Phase, Inverse Phase, Inverse Phase, Inverse Phase, and Inverse Phase. Please, please, if you can help, any amount helps. Even an $8 donation will help Inverse Phase to move. He's managed to raise $163,588 this year. He needs a total of $240,000 to get the museum moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we've given away a Guilty Gear album, retro covered album, Chip Lust album, Pretty 8 Machine album. All are his albums that he's composed. Pretty 8 Machine in particular is based on Pretty Hate Machine from 9 Inch Nails. Yes, he did get permission from Trent Reznor directly for that album to be created. We are less than $100 away from our $512 goal. If we get to $512, Inverse Phase will create a brand new outro song for Zophar's Realm's Twitch stream. Up until this point, we've just been using Zophar's domain, Omni Zophar Final Boss Battle music. So any amount helps. If you can't, even just signal boosting, telling people about Bloop Museum, letting them know how they can donate. If you are able to donate and you're not sure how to do it, just click on the little link right down there, givebutter.com/bloopholiday. Click the green donate button in the upper right corner, and you too can help to support the Bloop Museum. We have just about 20 minutes to go in tonight's stream, and I appreciate you. RPG Cappers is 20 minutes left. I thought we were going to the wee hours of the morning with the stream. No, we can't. I have work at 7 a.m. It won't work. It won't work. This time of year is tricky, but believe me, if I could, I would go all day with it. But that doesn't mean there can't be a sequel. There could be a sequel stream. Oh my God, it's the Atari Jaguar. Jeez, that controller. And there's a little TurboGrafx 16 action right there. Look at this cool stuff, everybody. We cannot allow Bloop Museum to go down. We cannot allow it. So please, please, please consider, if you can, helping out. Every dollar helps. Every dollar. Every single one. There is no donation amount that is too small. It's Rob the Robot. That matches. I have a Rob the Robot up there. Here, hold on. I don't think mine is quite as cool, but here's my Rob the Robot. Space Robot Arm, thank you so much for the $8 donation. Your support is greatly appreciated. Inverse Phase, I don't think, can hear us yet, so I'm going to let him know. $8 from Space Robot Arm. And Inverse Phase, back to you.
Thanks for the $8, Space Robot. Wait, I was going to say Space Robot Farm, but you're Space Robot Arm. I hope you enjoyed looking at the arms. Lots of fun stuff here. I've seen one or two screenshots of Zophar using one of these devices over here. Oh,
ah, the Mister.
Is it emulation? Or is it real?
I love it. I love the Mister.
What's boots?
We have done so many amazing things with that device over the last 3 years, haven't we, Chad? Haven't we? Many F's were had using that device.
Well, all right. Anyway, How about a computer the size of a room?
Hey! Holy crap. Holy crap. How did you get it in there? That's actually, I'm gonna ask that. I gotta ask him that question. How did you get that computer?
It's a small room, but
even
you
in
know, I
there?
mean, like a bedroom or something. How did I get that computer even in there? Zophar asks. And the answer was I borrowed a big box truck. We got it out of an attic of a college, pushed it off of the dock onto the truck, and then pushed it off of the truck onto the dock here. And then I had to clean it 3 times in a row. But it is quite beautiful, I might add.
That's amazing.
And then we moved it around 3 times when we tried to figure out where it was going to go here in the museum. And let me tell you, every time you move this, you better get ready for a day of activity.
You think? Holy crap. Thing is massive.
Pretty nuts.
Crotofang grew up with the NES, Genesis, Game Boy, original Color N64. Friends actually play SNES and PS1. Same. I
can take you.
I was a big fan of
here's
almost
the
all those
ASR-35.
systems.
We were talking about the green monster earlier. Is whoever was
except Game Boy
playing with one still here?
I like the Game Gear.
That's a
I was
35.
A Sega kid.
So you see, it's really just kind of the same thing as the 33, but giant.
Beautiful.
While we're looking at teletypes, here's something kind of weird and rare. It's the Model 40. You'll notice that this thing has a CRT. The teletype guy, little known secret, actually, I think most teletype people know this, but maybe you don't. The teletype guy hated computers. They actually do binary decoding with a motor in the teletype typewriters. And we were trying, I was looking into what might be wrong with this machine, or, you know, like why it doesn't power up. And so you can conveniently, like, move the monitor up like this, and then open the case to try and see what's wrong, and I figured it out. Maybe the teletype guy got to this machine and stole all of the components out, because they're
Holy
not in there.
crap. Oh boy. Oh,
So that's kind of a fun one. There are a whole bunch of mini computers around, including, actually, if you look around, there's a magazine article at one point. Here's like, they were like, even your wife will use a computer in the kitchen to keep track of her recipes, and they use this in that magazine ad from Honeywell. Honeywell had a computer division. They didn't just make thermostats.
Wow.
Over on this other side, we have some telephony things. I mentioned BBSs a couple times, and certainly some of us know what they are, but this
Love
one is
our
weird. This is
BBSs.
Minitel. This is a countrywide BBS in France from the telecom company there. That one's pretty wild. It turns out Japan tried the same thing, NTT Data, the phone service there. Before that, my cell phone connects to NTT Data if I go to Japan right now, but before that, there's just these access terminals, and people are doing, apparently the most consumer famous thing that people would do with this is off-track horse betting, but you could do your banking and stuff on it too.
Horse betting. How random.
But there's all sorts of stuff. Oops, I'm about to get tied around a chair.
Don't do that.
Got piles and piles of
We
modems.
need you.
We even have a diagram of, let's see, there's a little bit of glare there, but this is a Connect diagram. You can look at everything that a modem does to talk to the other side. Say, how crappy is this phone line? What languages do you speak? That sort of a thing. And people will call this ranging and training, stuff like that. So that's kind of cool.
Definitely.
There's all sorts of stuff back here. Here's yet another supercomputer just kind of hanging out in the corner.
Cyber
Cyber 960 would run something called Plato back in the day. This was kind of a dial-in service that you could get access to a supercomputer.
Wow.
And you could do like experiments in classrooms and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. I have to take you over the weeds here. You're going to have to look at me for a second.
The weeds, the weeds, the weeds.
Oh, great. Now my laptop is complaining that I'm low on battery this time. We might switch to the phone, or Zophar gave me a 20-minute warning, but I don't know how many minutes ago that was. Oops, maybe we could stand to have another light. Anyone have a copy of Pokemon Snap still? Maybe you'd like to print off some of your pictures?
Epic.
We also have a handful of arcade machines here in the corner.
What do we got there? I see Miss Pac-Man.
Zophar asks if it still
Neo
works,
Geo.
can it print? The only thing I need to do is reverse engineer the credit system. There's an easy way and a hard way. I kind of want to do it the hard way, but there's an easy version too. We think it still can print. It definitely boots up and starts up and waits for your pictures and all of that stuff. We can turn on the arcade machines anytime you want to play arcade games. I also have just a variety of other stuff, like to give you an idea of a look at the future. Obviously there's nothing in this shelf yet, but I'm going to populate it with some things. Over here you're also going to be able to compare LCD and CRT televisions, and I'm even going to put buttons in front of them so that you can vote on which one you like better, stuff like that. I'm going to come down the hall just a little bit over here. Doo-dee-doo. Here are some Wang computers.
Okay.
Certainly someone will make a Wang joke soon.
You ever see the Simpsons episode?
We also have some other
Thank
interesting
goodness
stuff.
you didn't see my shirt.
Like this right here is the interesting input devices exhibit, including but not limited to a light gun that works on an LCD TV. That's pretty wild. Also, if we go over here to the right, certainly everyone has seen force feedback wheels and force feedback sticks, but these guys actually are Interplay prototypes. They sent them to Interplay so that they could write games for force feedback. So that's pretty wild. 6 degrees of freedom, early hand positioning. That kid can't figure out how to use that trackball. One-handed controllers. One-handed jokes incoming. Pachinko and Mahjong. We even have, if you've seen not hackers but sneakers, we have some Braille terminals.
All right.
So that you can, just like Whistler is using a Braille terminal to see what his computer is saying because he's blind, you can do the same thing here. And we also have key input devices. And I skipped over the two things in the middle. Emotive headset, so that you don't have to drill a hole in your skull to do EEG. There's also some interesting gyroscopic mouse back here. You can use it in free space. There's also a twiddler down here. That's a keyboard and a mouse that you can hold in one hand. Pretty neat. I do have a power glove. It's just not out. Oh. My laptop might cut me off at any time. I will be back if it does. My phone is certainly charged now. I just need to grab it. But how about a look at Bob's Linotype while we're doing that?
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. I'm just letting Inverse Phase know to head back to his office. All right, so while Inverse Phase is getting all squared away there, Wasabi says you had a one-handed controller for the PlayStation 1. It was really comfortable for JRPGs. A one-handed controller, that's interesting. Do you have a link or a picture of it? I'd be curious to see that, Wasabi. Culinary Disaster says, nice, when you visited a deafblind center in your ASL interpreter training, several residents had full Braille keyboards and some really cool Braille computer tech. There's all kinds of assisted type devices. Like, I think about, I like to, when I see stuff like that, I think about what life was like before electronics, like, no movies, no subtitles, no audio assistance, no, TTY phone systems. Like, there was just none of that. Like, electronics, as much as, there's some stuff out there these days like AI that makes me scratch my head how it's being used sometimes. It really has done amazing things for people, and it's helped people that maybe otherwise, would have had a lot of difficulty, in their daily lives. The stuff that it's done, it's incredible. Oops. Let me whatchamacallit, boom. While he's figuring all that out. Doodly. Yeah, while Inverse Phase is getting that all figured out. So, real quick, booting your phone. No problem. So, real quick, everybody, since we are getting close to the end, that is Inverse Phase and Trent Reznor right there, by the way. While we're getting close to the end. So, Bloop Museum need your help. If you're just coming on in, we have successfully raised $429. We have hit 4 of our 6 goals tonight. We are very close to the next goal of $512. The ultimate goal is for Inverse Phase to be able to move the Bloop Museum from its current location into the new location he's eyed up at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He needs $240,000 in order to do that. We hit our 4 stretch goals tonight for all the physical albums. So Guilty Gear, Retro Cover, Chip Lust, and Pretty 8 Machine will all be handed out by Inverse Phase. Just for Cyra Zeal, Taco Loco, Action Dan, and Future Proof Visuals. Don't forget to Discord him if you haven't already. And he will get you, set up with that. If we get to $512 in these final 10 minutes of the stream tonight, Inverse Phase will compose us for Zophar's Realm Twitch stream a brand new outro song. And if we get to $1,024, he will compose an outro and redo the intro song, a nice little new remix for 2024-2025 for the Zophar's Realm theme song, We've Come Zophar. And yes, this is a back scratcher. I'm twirling around. That's just the thing I do. But I digress. Those controllers are great for any flight combat sims. Yeah. People play with each other before electronics and told stories to each other. Indeed they did. Indeed they did. It's true. Before electricity, how did people live? No, but I'm thinking of just all of the the assisted stuff, the devices that help people that maybe have trouble seeing or trouble hearing, or just the amazing things that that computers and technology have done for people that just didn't exist before electronics. So we're out of music. Oh no, how can we be out of music? Let's go get some Shuttle Scuttle going here in this up in this his house. There we go. Now we got Shuttle Scuttle. We like Shuttle Scuttle. Doodly. Not anymore, RPG Capper, not anymore. So yeah, so $429 so far for the Bloop Museum, which is added to the total of $163,596. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the strong support for Inverse Phase and the Bloop Museum. Inverse Phase is ready with the phone. Okay. Let's do the phone. Let's call Inverse Phase. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Oh, it's doodly-doodly-doo. Are you here, Inverse Phase?
I'm here. I'm waiting for the camera to start up.
Okay.
Should get audio. I can hear you this time, thank God.
Very nice, very nice. Inverse Phase can hear me now. It's epic. Conrad says accessibility tech rocks. When your thing is accessible to everyone, it's ideal. 100% agreed. 100% agreed.
Thank you. I agree with that too. The current facility is accessible for what it's worth, so if you were planning to come here, it's just that the place that I move, I want it also to be accessible. And actually, the majority of the building is accessible. It has an elevator, there's a wheelchair ramp already up to the door, all of that stuff. It's just a matter of getting the bathrooms worked out and that sort of a thing. So I didn't really want to put $30,000 bathrooms on the fundraiser.
Yeah, totally understood. Your video camera's not up yet, though.
Let me try and screw with it real
Doodly-doo. Hope you've all enjoyed tonight this awesome walkthrough of the Bloop Museum. All right, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Let me put you back on here. And and boom. There we go. We're back. We're back. You need to head for bed, RPG Capper. No problem. Enjoy your sleepy sleep. It was indeed a great trip down memory lane, and I will see you soon, RPG Capper. It's a lot of wires. It looks like Shelob's lair from Lord of the Rings.
We could, we could do a last call for, like I can run over to something that someone didn't get a chance to see.
Yeah, everyone,
Inverse
Face can hear you now, so if you have some requests, pop him in here right now. He hears everything you're saying. Go.
If they tell them, I'm not looking at my screen, so you'll have to yell.
Yeah,
at me,
yeah, he hears me, so I'll tell him what you're saying. Crotafang says, thank you for the fascinating and wonderful stream. No problem, Crotafang. Thank you, Inverse Phase, for sharing this awesome museum with us. And thank you, everyone so far that has donated or showed up or chatted, supported, let people know about it. All of it helps. All of it is support. What am I looking at here? Let's see, a rotary phone. Oh, we're getting really retro.
Just a little bit stuck. Probably needs some lubrication here.
There you go.
Seems to be looking okay now.
Culinary Disaster says, do you have a theremin?
So, I'm so glad you asked. You have to walk over to National Electronics Museum. This is the third museum. I mentioned there are 3 in the space.
Doodle-doodle-doo.
Here is a Harrison 302. This is interesting because if you look at the picture of the theremin here, most of them have antennas, and there's one that's kind of parallel or perpendicular to the other. But this one is a dual plate theremin. So it is more akin, and I mean, honestly, you could call a theremin, and this is what the hardware, the technology was originally developed for. It's literally adaptive cruise control, and they were going to put it in military vehicles and get them to follow each other and do radar and that sort of a thing. And Leon Theremin is the guy saying, okay, we should figure out how these proximity sensors work. Well, wait a minute. I wonder, I want to check it and make sure that this is working. Why don't I just hook it up to a speaker and make sure that my proximity sensors work?
Right. Huh. Here, let me turn the music off real quick so people can hear it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
This might be harder to hear than, can you, oops.
I heard something
I might have to
earlier.
also turn, let me see if I can get my arm in here. It's hard to do this with one hand on the phone, but.
Gotcha. It's a two-handed instrument.
So your left hand controls the amplitude, the volume, and your right hand controls the frequency. The closer your hand is to the amplitude plate, the louder it is. The closer your hand is to the frequency plate, the higher the pitch goes.
Ah, okay. Wow.
There it is. This is
the
302 Theremin. And you can play this if you come to the museum.
Did they actually implement this? Did it end up getting used in military vehicles?
Well, I mean, technically my Prius has one now.
There you go.
As for the other purpose, they only made about 500 Theremins commercially. It got sold as something called the Theremin box by RCA. And they were selling them, like way back in the day, they were selling them for $175 each, which would work out to I don't know, like $5,000 with inflation.
Yeah.
But it's pretty wild.
Wow.
Any other hot requests?
Any other requests left? We got 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes left. Anything else you want to know? You want to ask Inverse Phase? You want me to relay to him? You want to see? Now is the time. Danger, high voltage. What are we seeing here?
This is Jacob's Ladder. You see it in like Frankenstein.
Oh,
and,
right.
You know, all sorts of like sci-fi movies.
Well, there was this guy on YouTube. I forget his name. Like something, Mr. Boom or Kaboom. I forget his name, but he does all kinds of like ridiculously unsafe things. But I'm sure he knows what he's doing with electronics. And I remember he was messing with, I think it was a Jacob's Ladder, and he definitely like gave himself some kind of shock with it, or like lit on fire, or something really bad happened with the Jacob's Ladder. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? Has anybody ever seen this dude? I can't remember his name. It's like Kaboom something.
Just Google for dude blows shit up with Jacob's Ladder. Or
Yeah,
something like
Jacob's Ladder Kaboom YouTuber. See if I can find it. Here we go. Electro Boom. That's his name. Electro Boom.
All right. I'll have to go look this up once I'm back at a computer.
And like it really actually goes wrong in this one. Usually it just, yeah, he constantly shocks himself. It's all controlled, but this time it wasn't. That's the link to the YouTube video. Viewer discretion. He really does he does hurt himself a little bit with the Jacob's Ladder, but he's okay. That was 7 years ago.
Do you remember G4 Tech TV?
I do, actually.
Do you remember this? This was totally like early pre-YouTube meme. They had a recording of a guy that visited, you know, like screensavers or whatever, and he brought on a wax cylinder, like pre-vinyl records, and the guy breaks it on air. And he stops himself from dropping an F-bomb, but he says shit instead anyway on live TV. Anyway, all of that is to say, here is one.
Oh, wow.
This is yet another thing that I don't own, but NEM owns, and you can listen to it play when you're here at the museum. And right next to it is a very, very beautiful Victrola.
Wow, that is amazing.
Gorgeous.
So like, how long? Like, when you hit, you're gonna get. I know you're gonna get there. We're gonna get you to 240,000. You're definitely gonna get there. And when you do get there and you move, like, how long do you think it's gonna take you to get everything moved? There's got to be a huge undertaking. You've got so much cool stuff in there.
I do have cool stuff, but the stuff that I've shown you that's out is dwarfed by the stuff that is in storage, and the stuff that is in storage is already on pallets, already shrink wrapped, already ready to move.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if Bob is still tuned into the stream, but I checked with Bob, and he said that I could even borrow the System Source box truck and throw my pallets on it and drive them straight to Pittsburgh with it. So, you know, I mean, like, there's a good chance that I will probably be renting an actual, you know, like full truckload semi to drive my stuff to Pittsburgh. But, you know, I mean, there's certainly going to be some stuff that gets left over and that sort of a thing. So, you know, like, we have two options for transportation. If we want to move faster, we can literally just throw stuff on the truck and move some things right away, and then we can wait for the rest of the stuff to show up. You know, like, much of our stuff is ready to go. In the interests of showing the maximum number of people, things in the museum, I'm going to leave the exhibits that are up, you know, the stuff that's like way over there and whatever. That's where I was standing earlier. That stuff will stay up until we are fully moved into the new location, and then I'll move my exhibits so that they can be the first things set up in the space so that we can open the Pittsburgh location close to right away.
Awesome.
It'll take me probably a couple months to actually move everything, and then it'll take me a couple months to get things actually set up and turned on and fixed up.
Maybe once all this happens, you're all moved in and everything, I'd love to come down to Pittsburgh. It's about a 5-hour drive, but it's a straight shot. I'm literally minutes from the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and it just, you know where it is.
You know what else you can do? If you don't want to drive, there's a train that goes straight from Pittsburgh to Philly.
That's a good point too.
You could just hop on that and, you know, like, not even have to drive it. And it's probably, I mean, like, with the price of tolls being what they are, it's probably the same price to get a train ticket to Pittsburgh.
Touche. Good point. All right, well, listen.
Check this out.
Oh, go ahead.
Last thing. This is a radar range. It looks like a regular old school commercial oven, but this is actually one of the first microwaves.
Wow, dude.
For commercial use. Next to it, we have obviously a very like regular Samsung, you know, like dormitory microwave or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show you this. Why does your your microwave have a turntable in it? You probably know the answer because your food would like be cold in some places and hot in
Yeah,
others,
it evenly
right?
cooks it. Yeah.
But one of the National Electronics Museum dudes put some neon light bulbs in a plastic piece in the middle of the microwave, didn't hook them up to anything, and they light up when microwave hits them. And so you can actually see a visualization of where the hot zones are.
Wow. That's awesome. Uh-oh, I'm getting getting Resident Evil vibes here. Uh-oh. And for lasers to start shooting across.
Anyway, you started talking and signing off. I just figured this would be kind of a
that's
cool
awesome
thing to see before we finish.
I love it. So listen, first of all, Inverse Phase, thank you for taking us through the Bloop Museum. It's freaking amazing. And everybody, for all the support, being here tonight, for those who donated, and even if you couldn't, just helping to spread the word and chatting with us. Huge, huge, huge help. If anyone has any final donations while we're on the stream they want to pop in, go right ahead. Otherwise, you do not need to be on stream to donate. You can donate whenever you like. The exclamation bloop command right there, that's the link. Go ahead and bookmark that, even if you can't give now, if you think you'll be able to at a later date. All of this will help Inverse Phase to preserve all of these amazing pieces of electronics and history from many of the past decades. It's really, really cool there, and I definitely want to come in and see it. And you know what else I think too is, you can talk about the museum all day long, but until you actually see the cool stuff here, like I knew about your museum for years. We talked about this. You always asked me to come down, and I didn't really realize like just how much cool stuff you have there. It's incredible. That's it. You've done some amazing things with just a few thousand square feet, and it's awesome. So. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you, Inverse Phase. Appreciate you, chat.
Thank you so much, Zophar and Squad.
No problem.
Really, really appreciate you. I had fun showing you around. I'll absolutely do it some more. They joke in the office that I can spend 6 hours showing you around, but you can see that I already spent 3 showing you around, and we barely grazed the surface of half of the stuff here. Like, you could just spend all day here, and I can just like walk around with you, and we can be like, "Does this turn on? Can we play with this?"
No doubt. You could do it. You could literally. We could have done a 10 or 12-hour stream easily, and still not gotten through much of the stuff.
Maybe we'll do another one if you want to.
We definitely should. We'll have to plan something out. Probably, I would say after December, once I'm through the.
Okay.
You know how this time of the year is. How much fun it is for me. My other job. The job that shall not be named. But Inverse Phase, thank you so much. Thank you, chat. It looks like we're going to be finishing up at $429 towards the $240,000 ultimate goal, of which Inverse Phase has raised $163,596. Oh yeah, I definitely work for the man. There's no doubt about that. So thank you, Inverse Phase.
That means a lot.
No problem. Inverse Phase, I'll Discord you at the after the stream, just a quick recap before I go to sleep tonight. But thank you so much, dude. And we'll go to our little outro. So say bye to Inverse Phase, everyone. Wave goodbye.
Goodbye. Message me on Discord.
Will
DMs
do.
are open. If you're on Zophar's Discord, you can just talk to me and ask me questions.
Boom. All right, everybody.